Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Afternoon Tune. I'm your host, Josh, and with me is my co-host here.
Oh, hello. How's it going?
So we got Hunter from The Real Pineapple. He came on today. Nick couldn't be here, so he's just filling in real quick for Nick. Hey, man, thank you for coming by.
Oh, dude, anytime. It's a pleasure. When I'm happy whenever I'm on.
Nice, man. Yeah, it's always a pleasure to have you on. He's been on multiple times before. He was on during our watch party for Jingle All the Way. He was also on. Yeah, we did that. You also came on for Spectacular Spider-Man. We did a review for that.
Yep.
You were also on for No Way Home when we did that. So, yeah. Hey, man, it's good to have you back.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm excited to talk about a lot of shit because there's a lot to get to tonight.
Awesome. Yeah. There's a lot to talk about. So, of course, Super Bowl, right? Big game. That was on today. We're going to be discussing that. A lot of trailers, commercials come from that. We're going to be discussing some of the commercials because this is the day of that we're doing the show and everything like that. Shut that off. Oh, right. Still got these alarms. Let me shut this off. But we're discussing the day of, so some of these commercials, I'm not going to probably remember all of them, but just stuff that's already fresh in our minds and memories and things like that of the commercials that were on the Super Bowl. So we got some in mind. Big things that came out were the Doctor Strange trailer, the second trailer for Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. We're also going to
Ah,
try to prop this up real quick.
we're live people. It happens sometimes.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing that. We're also going to be doing Nope, Jordan Peele, discussing that trailer as well. Also, The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, the trailer for the Amazon series that came out as well. And we're going to be doing some quick reviews. We got Marry Me, that movie that came out with Jennifer Lopez. There was a movie with Jennifer Lopez that came out. Yeah, there was. And we're going to be discussing that. We're also going to be getting into Kimi, which is a movie that premiered on HBO Max. A movie I was very excited for. It was with Zoe Kravitz and Steven Soderbergh. I'm a big fan of Steven Soderbergh. I like how he changes, does a lot of different movies, does a lot of different styles. Much appreciated. He was just said, you know what, fuck it, why not? I'll shoot a movie on the iPhone 7. Why not? I'll just do that. I'll shoot a movie where my lead actor is a porn star. Why not? Sure, fuck it. I'll do that. So, he's a guy that takes a lot of risks. Love that. Appreciate that about him. So definitely going to be getting into that. But yeah, man, how you doing?
I'm good, man. A little underwhelmed, if I'm being honest. I thought we'd see a little more movie-wise this Super Bowl, and we didn't get a ton, but what we got was awesome. But yeah, like it was a good Super Bowl. Congrats to the Rams.
Yeah,
really happy for Aaron Darnold. I'm a huge fan of his, and Matt Stafford. I mean, finally got a chance to play in some big games, and he showed up. He made the plays he needed to. So, congrats to the Rams. Cooper Kupp is a beast. I fucking love that dude. That guy, goddamn. But yeah, it was a good game, back and forth. I was engaged the whole time. The halftime show kicked ass. That was wonderful. So yeah, man, like Super Bowl was it's always nice when it's actually competitive. And it was competitive, like really the whole way through. So I mean, you can't really. I would have liked it to be a little higher scoring because I'm a sucker for like a 31-28 game, but. It was a good game though. It was a really good game. I was happy. It was better than last year's. So
yeah, because last year was the Chiefs and the Bucks, and it was a blowout pretty much because it was a domination. Because Chiefs had no offensive line.
At
and
all.
and then they were just running Mahomes all over the field. So it wasn't really all that competitive. So he couldn't even throw to his targets and everything like that. This game, it was a little more tighter. So the final score was Rams 23-20. Tight game. The Bengals had a great story coming into it, Cinderella story, because they were this underdog team all throughout the playoffs. People picked them. They're probably going to lose against the Titans. Then when they faced the Chiefs, a lot of people picked them to lose against the Chiefs. They were like, oh well, the Chiefs are going to run all over them. They're going to dominate them, but they end up coming back and beating the Chiefs. And it seemed like a game that was kind of going in similar situations that the Bengals had been in, where a team goes up on them and then they kind of make a comeback because during the going into the first end of the first half, going into the second half. The Rams were up, you know what I mean? And the Rams were up. It was 14-3 going into the second half, right?
Yes. And then and Joe Burrow, man, he's been playing from behind like these whole playoffs. So to your point, the narrative was there for them to come back. I wasn't, celebrating or anything like that. It's like this is still a game. And 12 seconds into the third quarter, they scored off of a huge missed call by the refs, which I was like, God damn, you guys missed that.
Yeah.
That ridiculous pass interference, that face mask. But then it was a game.
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey seemed like he had a lot of balls thrown at him that were kind of key plays in the game, because he had that one where it was like Jamar Chase, where it was like, I think it was in the fourth quarter where Jamar Chase kind of caught the ball and he kind of baited him and then faked him out. Yes. And then he kind of ran for a first down. Then it was the play where he kind of got beat. I think it was also Jamar Chase who got a long play for first down.
Like 43 yards, something like that. Yeah.
And then you're talking about the play. Who was the player that did the face mask? It was number 85. I forgot his name.
I'm blanking, but I know who you're talking about. But yeah, it was like a very clearly missed call, and that kind of swung the momentum of the whole game, because if the Bengals don't get that touchdown, I think we're having a way different conversation. Now, I'm already on Twitter seeing people go like the refs screwed the Bengals. Look, y'all, the Bengals had their chances and they just couldn't execute. Let's call it what it is. Like Joe Burrow, I'm a fan of his. The fact they even got to the Super Bowl, it's something that the Bengals should be incredibly proud of, considering how long that franchise has been in purgatory. And I think they'll be back, but give the Rams their credit, give Aaron Darnold credit, give Von Miller and the rest of that defensive front. They started getting the Burrow in the fourth quarter and they started making plays. And I think Aaron Darnold's already a top 5 defensive player, and this solidifies that, if not puts him in top 3. So, I mean, this is a big Super Bowl win for him. But Stafford had, 2 interceptions? Again, the Bengals had chances.
I mean, he had 2 interceptions. One really wasn't his fault because it kind of bounced off a guy's hand.
Fair.
The other one was his fault because he told the guy to kind of go deep, and then he was trying to go deep, and then the guy, he just intercepted the ball because he's trying to throw to Jeffries, and he just intercepted it. But yeah, like you said, I mean, the defense really stepped up because, after that pick, it only got them 3 points. And if they had scored a touchdown after that pick, that really would have probably put it in for them in that game.
Yeah.
That really would have probably cost them that game. And then also that missed field goal that they had, that 1 point was like, wow, that was so crucial. Coming towards the end of the game, I was like, wow, I bet you they missed that 1 point right now.
Yeah. And Odell Beckham going down early too. Second quarter he went down, didn't come back.
And he was having
the Bengals had chances. Yeah.
And Odell was having a good game. I mean, he was having a game you expect a guy to have like that, who, you get Odell Beckham, because all the attention is going to be mostly on Kupp.
Yes.
So it's going to, you really expect Beckham to pick up with that slack. But also, big shout out to the third string tight end that the Rams had. He was really stepping up.
He was great.
He was really stepping up. And then, like you said, Aaron Donald, it seemed like after that scuffle where he pushed Burrow out of bounds, And then after that just like lit a fire. He's like, okay, I'm ready now. Okay, I'm not
Yes.
gonna lose this game. Like I'm gonna go beast mode. Him and Von Miller was just like, okay, I'm gonna go beast mode. And then they started sacking him completely, where he just didn't get touched throughout the game. And then all of a sudden he had like 7 sacks. Just all of them start to rack up one after the other. They were just getting to him. And that offensive line of the Bengals is not good. It's not that very good of offensive
Yeah,
line.
so that's going to be the story going in the off season because look, taking nothing away from Joe Burrow for as tough as he is and all that, but you can't let your quarterback get hit that many times, and keep them being a franchise quarterback. I mean, he'll be Andrew Luck if they let him keep taking punishment like this. Like they need to get him an O line so he can be protected
Yeah.
because I mean they've got Chase, they've got Higgins, they've got was it Utama, the tight end? They've got Mixon. Like they've got
Yeah.
offensive weapons, but they need an O line. That should be primarily what they focus on in the off season.
Yeah.
But yeah, congrats to the Bengals. They played a hell of a game, and nothing but love and respect for Joe Burrow. But I mean, credit to Sean McVay. Like it was kind of looking like they might give the game away again, and he'd be 0-2 in Super Bowls, but they found a way to pull it off.
Yeah, because the Rams run game they were giving them nothing run game wise. Absolutely
At
nothing.
all.
They couldn't even get, I mean, what they probably averaged, like 2 yards a carry, like a yard or 2 yards a carry. Like
I think that it was like Cam Akers had like 11 rushes for what was it, like 28 yards or something like that. Like it was terrible. Like
yeah,
no one could run the ball.
no, they couldn't run the ball for anything. And didn't that look scary when Burrow got caught up and then his knee kind of like, didn't that look like, ooh, that looked absolutely
And
terrifying.
and that's the same knee that what tore his ACL. So I was like,
Oh
oh
no, I
shit!
don't
Like
think
I was
they said it wasn't the same. It was the other knee. They
was
said,
it? What was the other name? Okay,
yeah.
like. But to your point, that yeah, that tackle when the guy came down, like the look, like he screamed. I was like, oh no! And I hope he. I mean, I guess he's okay, but yeah, that looks scary
Yeah.
at first glance.
So, Cal said, since he almost had it. Yeah, they did. They almost had it. But yeah, that defense, it just, I mean, I think it was, for me, it was between Donald and Cup for being MVP. I think you could have made an
Yeah,
argument, but yeah.
I think if Cup only has one touchdown, I think you could sway it more for Darnold. But that last drive, though, like they told the Bengals, we're going to Cooper Cup over and over again, and like they double him, they triple him, and McVay found a way to get him in motion and give him the backfield, and just found ways to get him the ball. Still, I mean, you can't. So I was a huge advocate for him winning regular season MVP. Like I didn't think it was even a contest. Like considering how he won the Triple Crown and everything, and it went to Aaron Rodgers, douchebag. But I really thought it should have been Cooper Cup. So I'm really happy at least got the Super Bowl MVP, and I will be looking to draft him in fantasy next year because
Yeah.
goddamn.
Yeah. And Matthew Stafford, I mean, he's made a legend out of, Calvin Johnson, now kind of Cooper Cup. But yeah, Cooper Cup. I mean, I think if I had to place a vote for White Guy of the Year, it's going to be Cooper Cup. I think Cooper Cup's my white guy. He's the white guy of 2022. Yeah. Amazing. I mean, he was a warrior out there, man. I mean, he took that hit helmet to helmet. I mean, they were, like I said, double teaming him, and he just got open. They were like, they just couldn't stop the guy. He just was that dominant. They just couldn't stop the guy, and they knew everybody was going to him.
Yeah, yeah. And just real quick, the Rams went all in. Like they traded multiple like first round draft picks and all this stuff to get Stafford, to get Von Miller, to get OBJ. Like they went all in this year, and like this was the goal, and they did it. Like you gotta give them credit for that, for gambling away a couple years of draft picks to win now. And they did. So, I mean,
Yeah.
credit to the Rams organization.
Because rarely that ever happens. Like when people put all their chips in, that rarely kind of happens when they win a championship. Like that kind of almost feels like it rarely happens. And then
Yeah.
for Matthew Stafford to be in his first year in L.A. to win, that is pretty great. Cal, he said that no, he said his vote is for Eminem for taking that knee. That's his vote.
Yeah. So, do you want to talk about that halftime show real quick?
Yeah, yeah, might as well. Yeah, since
Because
we're on it. Yeah.
yeah, got so first off, it was like my iPod when I was 14 came to life for 15 minutes. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. But Snoop looks great, man. I feel like Snoop just doesn't age. It was a trip to see the Death Row uh necklace that he's wearing out there. It was like, yeah, because Snoop owns Death Row now, which what a trip, what a trip that is. And seeing Dre out there actually playing piano and Mary J. Blige, who just does not age.
Mm.
Who, by the way, we people really need to understand that for all the R&B singers, now your Janelle Monáe, your SZAs, all that. Mary J. Blige is kind of one of those unsung R&B legends who I think just goes under the radar, and she really shouldn't.
You think so?
I personally think so. I think she's one of those people that because Aaliyah is usually one of the first ones that a lot of people bring up, and then if I bring up Mary J, people kind of go, "Oh, that's right, yeah." It's like, yeah, Mary J, put some respect on her name, and I was so happy to see her get this platform and really show out the way she did. I'm going to be the asshole, say it. It was weird to see 50 Cent kind of looking like like Grimace 50 Cent. Like he just
Yeah.
looks.
It seemed like, yeah. By the way, hey Dante, Dante Mustang. Hey man, how's it going? Glad you could stop by. But yeah, when it showed 50, which was a surprise, 50 popped up.
Oh yeah,
Him hanging from the ceiling like he did in his famous music video
in the club.
In the club. It was like it's almost like he was kind of like he was like hanging up there for too long, and all the blood kind of rushed to his head because it sounded like he was rapping like he was like, oh shit, I've been up here for too long, like because this is like he was kind of so slow and everything like that. And then he came down and tried to come out rap again, and it was just kind of like, yeah, it was like didn't have all that energy. I don't know.
It was like Axl Rose at the VMAs, too, when he goes running out to the microphone. He's like, it was like that shit. And again, I'm a huge 50 Cent fan. Get Rich or Die Trying is probably one of my favorite rap albums ever. But yeah, you could tell he was out of breath rapping. It's like, all right, man, like.
Yeah, and you see, he didn't do it shirtless like he did, in the video, in the club video. He didn't do it shirtless. Yeah,
I mean, probably a reason for that. I mean, look, the pandemic's hit us all differently. I mean, I'm sure, I'm sure he's still in good shape, but is he in 50 shape? Maybe not. But
because when he did that, when he was like what 20, probably in his 20s.
Oh yeah, like couldn't have been over than 24.
Yeah,
like I don't think.
Now he's 50, ain't he?
Is he 50?
I don't know. Is he?
He can't be 50. Now you got okay. Now I'm gonna have to look this up because I'm
he's 46. Curious. Okay, he's 46.
Okay, you were close. All right. Like,
yeah.
I mean, the thing is like me talking shit. Like he still looks great.
Yeah.
But he's just not. But it's not. It's not when that come out 02 something like that. Like it's not thin. It's been 20 years. So
yeah.
Not trying to talk too much shit, but yeah, he was out of breath when he went to rap. Everyone else nailed their shit for the most part. I mean, I already mentioned Mary J. Blige was great. I wish we would have gotten some more Kendrick.
Yeah.
I will be the first to admit I would have liked another song for Kendrick, but the bit we did get to hear him do all right was wonderful, and I love the choreography.
Yeah. How's it going there, Nick? How's it going there, man?
What's up, Nick?
Yeah. Do you like the whole melody thing? Because I kind of figured they were gonna do that, like do a melody of everybody's big song and have it play one into the next. And I kind of figured they were gonna do that because there's so many guests that they had. So they had, in the Super Bowl halftime performance, they had Dr. Dre, they had Mary J. Blige, they had Snoop Dogg, they had Eminem, they had 50 Cent, they had Kendrick Lamar. Part of why they had the artists was because the Super Bowl took place in L.A. this year, so they got big time LA artists, and LA is known for the hip hop scene, gangster rap. That's where kind of one of the big birthplaces of it. And so they brought in two of the most influential figures of that, in Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. And one of the new kind of faces of that now of LA hip hop is Kendrick Lamar. So it kind of made sense why you kind of bring them in there. So Yeah, I mean, do you kind of like that style of doing that, the whole melody of that, of going into like popular songs?
I think I think if you mix it similar in the way that they did, like Jay Z and Linkin Park's Collision Course is a good example. How you can take a couple songs and blend them so that they kind of go, one into the other. And I thought the melody overall, how we got from each song, was really well done. I love the set design too, like how like everyone kind of felt like they were partying off on their own, and they would kind of bring everyone together. Like it was, I thought it was really well staged too. It was really cool to see Anderson Paak on the drums too. That was something I was not expecting. It was like, oh shit, okay, but yeah, honestly, I thought everyone brought it. It was cool to see Dre up there because we don't see Dre too often,
Yeah, true.
like so it was cool to see Dre up there. It was cool to see him actually play piano. That was something I was not expecting at all. But Snoop looked good. M sounded great. Bit of a hot take. I'm not crazy about the song "Lose Yourself." Like that's actually I think one of his weaker songs.
Really?
I don't know. It's just never hit for me in that way that it hits for most people. I mean, and he won an Oscar for that song. Like I
Yeah,
understand how insane that is, but
yeah.
I loved his performance of it.
You don't
But
like Mom Spaghetti, huh?
yeah, I'm not I'm not crazy about Mom Spaghetti in that sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could use another 10 minutes to be honest. Like it felt a little short. That's
Mm,
probably my one gripe. It was only like 15 minutes. And I
mm.
was like, I could use another five, maybe another seven, eight
Yeah.
minutes. But overall, though, absolutely dug it. We're on a pretty good streak of halftime shows because we had oh crap, what was last year? Now they're all starting
I
to blend
wasn't at the
together, and I'm
weekend
thinking about
last
it.
year. It was the
Oh,
weekend.
that's right. Well, I think it was the weekend.
I
Yeah,
didn't
and I
really
thought
like the
his. I thought
weekends too much. I didn't really. And
really
I like
okay.
the
So
weekend's music, but I didn't like his performance in the Super Bowl. I don't know.
okay. So I like this performance. The last one I remember going, please turn this off, was that Maroon 5 one. I was like, God damn, this sucks. That was
Yeah.
like that was the one. I was like, all right, we can stop this right
When
now.
was
And
that one?
Katy Perry, that was like 3 years ago, I want to say,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
because we have Lady Gaga. I think it was like 2 years ago, and I thought she killed it. But yeah, Maroon 5 was pretty bad. Katy Perry was really bad until Missy Elliott showed up. I was like, oh, thank God, someone with talent.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
like
like it. I like
it's
some of
been
Katy Perry's songs. I just don't think I wouldn't pay to
it,
see her live, but I like her music. But I wouldn't pay to see.
exactly.
I wouldn't pay to see her live.
Yeah, there's like six songs of hers. Like I'm like okay, but for a halftime show, like you need someone dynamic to do, to do a halftime show. Like so,
Yeah.
that's why I was kind of like, she's a bit of an odd choice. But yeah, overall though, I thought the halftime show kicked ass, and the game was fun, and for the most part, some fun, some fun TV trailers, but honest to God, I thought I was watching a crypto TV show because that's all I saw commercials for was fucking crypto.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess final thing about like the halftime show before getting into commercials for me. I think this was a pretty good halftime show. I think this is probably the most I liked one since maybe the Beyonce one, probably, which was in 2013. Because that's the one I
Okay.
remember the most. I think thinking about it, like trying to think about all the other halftime shows before this one, I'm like, which one I remember the most? I think the Beyonce one was probably really really great. Um,
Yeah.
but you speak about the Super Bowl, because we're going to get into the commercials we liked or we remember, because hey, this is the day of, we're trying to, what I mean, trying to get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of crypto stuff. First of all, that commercial with LeBron James and young LeBron, it was weird looking as hell. I'm sorry, that shit
That
freak.
was
That was freaky
yeah.
as fuck. That was shit. Was fucking like that. That looked like LeBron James from like PlayStation 3. You know what I mean? PlayStation 2 LeBron James. I'm like, what the fuck?
He looked like a ghetto sim, is what he looked like. Like it was a really weird, it was a really weird fucking look for him.
Yeah, so yeah, there was a lot of. I felt like there was a lot of crypto commercials. There was a lot of commercials for streaming shows. Like you had the commercial
Yep.
for Peacock and Showtime and Netflix, and I felt like there was a lot of stuff like that for the commercials. Um, as far as like crazy commercials, I don't feel like there was a whole lot of like crazy ones. I don't remember any really. Do you remember any like shocking crazy ones or no?
I mean, there are a couple. That Lay's one with Paul Rudd and Seth Rogen. That was funny.
Hmm.
Where Seth Rogen gets married to that demon ghost
Mm-hmm.
basically, and they're like reminiscing about all the times that Lay's happened to be involved in their lives. That was actually pretty funny. Um, the cable guy one with
Yeah.
Verizon. It was cool to see Jim Carrey back in that role because I think that is, if I ever got a chance to interview Jim Carrey, that would be the first movie I ask him about. I fucking adore the cable
I
guy,
do
and
like the
it's
cable
actually a
guy.
movie. And considering how we are in the age of streaming now, that movie has aged hilariously well. Considering how we have everything on our phones now, it's a fascinating conversation you could have about that film. But outside of that, there was the Austin Powers commercial for GM. That was fun. It was cool to see Doctor Evil again.
Mm.
Um,
Dante
outside of
Dante Must Die said the Pringles one was hilarious. What was the Pringles one?
Oh, that's the one where the guy got his like hand cut in the can, and he like, got married with it, and like scooped the cake
Oh,
off, and
okay.
yeah, that was weird to me, to be honest, because like seeing him die in the Pringles can still being on his wrist, so it's like, it's a little weird, but all right.
Mm,
But yeah, I know some people really like that one, so
yeah. A commercial for me. I mean, this was kind of a lame one for me, but I think the ending was kind of funny. It was the one with the Joneses, the one where they did like Rashida Jones and Leslie Jones and
I like
Tommy.
that one.
It kind of was kind of a lame concept because it was like okay, we're gonna bring together all these people with the last name Jones, even though Jones is a very common last name, and it has all these other
Yeah,
famous Jones. So it had less, and they were all driving Ram trucks. So it was an advertisement for the trucks. But it did end funny because at the end when they all drive up to the hill, then all of a sudden the Jonas brother he comes up driving up, and
yeah,
they were like,
Nick.
and then Tommy Lee Jones like, okay, well, I don't even know who you are, but let's go. It's like okay, that's funny to me because Tommy Lee Jones probably really doesn't know who the fuck Nick Jonas
Oh yeah,
is.
there's no fucking way.
There's
There's
no
no way
way.
Tommy Lee Jones.
There is no way Tommy Lee Jones knows who the fuck Nick Jonas is. So that was like a real moment. Like that felt like a real moment. Like yeah, I don't even know who you are, but okay, whatever. You know what I mean? Like yeah, okay, yeah. But I thought it ended pretty funny. I thought that was kind of a good line.
Yeah.
The Paul Rudd Seth Rogen one I thought was cool. I liked them. Um, what else was kind of a good one to me? I'm trying to think in my head. Do you have any
Oh,
more?
the one that kind of ran long, but it was weird. But I did chuckle throughout all of it. Was the Andre 3000 one with Zendaya about Squarespace that actually caught me off guard. I was like, because I'm always happy to see Andre 3000. I was like, oh shit, okay,
Yeah.
but yeah, so that was kind of weird, but I was happy to see that. And then the other one was the one about I think it was BMW. It was Schwarzenegger and Salma Hayek, and Schwarzenegger was playing Zeus for
Yeah.
some reason.
And they were singing Electric Avenue. Yeah.
Yeah, which again, corny as hell, but it's Schwarzenegger. It's in line with him. Uh, I laughed. Like again, dumb, but I had fun with it.
Yeah, and I always Selma Hayek. I always love me some Selma Hayek. Yeah.
Right? I'm saying, but
Yeah. So that's pretty good. And then of course the big thing from the commercials, the trailers. They had a lot of stuff premiere
get into
because
it.
the Super Bowl. So the first kind of I want to talk about is Jordan Peele's Nope because I
Yes,
have no idea what's going on, but I love it.
same, same.
Yeah, I absolutely love it, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I definitely want to see more of this. And so kind of a little bit of the basic kind of premise going on, where it's Daniel Kaluuya, who's like a horse rancher trainer, and then you have Kiki Palmer who owns the ranch apparently, and then they're like this black-owned business that owns and trains horses, that runs it. Then all of a sudden they just see something in the sky coming, and then you see all these other kind of weird images. Do you think it's like basically it's like alien invasion type situation?
Fog is making me think alien invasion, but this is what's so great about Jordan Peele. We have no idea what the fuck this movie's about, and we're like, oh man, this is coming out in July. I can't wait to see that shit.
Yeah.
I'm Jordan Peele has entered that conversation of directors for me where I just go, oh, you're making a new movie? Cool. I don't care what it's about, I'll go see it. So I mean, I know some people are kind of down on Us. I own and adore that movie, and Get Out goes without question. So I'm curious what this is about. Again, I don't really care because I'm there opening night, but it looks ominous, and there's nothing scarier than bad shit happening during the daytime. So seeing so many daytime shots, I'm already getting those Us vibes of, oh, just because it's daytime doesn't mean something terrible won't occur, and that's exciting for me as a horror guy on occasion. So yeah, I'm excited for this.
Yeah. You just see like everybody's just looking up into the sky, and then you see like this woman with this face, that just fly like with this kind of burnt kind of face or something like that. Um, I don't want to say this woman's like an alien or something. I don't want to make fun of a woman's condition or something. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no, I got you.
But
But
yeah,
that shot's clearly there for a reason, though.
yeah. So it's like, is it aliens? And then you see like this hand that's coming underneath the bed or something, the sheets or something like that. And it's like something's reaching out to touch it. It's like, but it doesn't look like a baby's hand. It looks like a doll's hand. It looks like or something. That's kind of interesting. But yeah, I mean, so you have Kiki Palmer, you have David Kaluuya, Daniel Kaluuya, you have Steven Yeun as well. Who Steven
Love
Yeun's,
that dude.
yeah, he's having a great career after Walking Dead. Yeah, he's having a really great
Which,
career.
thank God he got off that fucking show. Anyone who's on there still, I know the show's gonna end. Quote end. They'll bring it back in like 2 years, but get off that show. There's no reason for anyone with talent which to be on that show anymore. Just get away from the fucking zombies because yeah, talk about a show I just want to end. I just want The Walking Dead to stop. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm happy for him that that wasn't the end of his career.
Nick said Us is really good. It's just not as good as Get Out. Us,
Yeah,
I think Us is okay. I have an issue with the ending of Us and the logistics of Us and stuff that makes sense in Us. I don't think it's as tight as Get Out. Like Get Out was so tight and so really really good and script wise, and then Us, I think just a lot of stuff logistically just didn't make a lot of sense with Us, with the whole concept of the tethered and like, okay, but there's times where they said they're tethered, but all of a sudden people can control their tethers, but then there's times where they can't, and then all of a sudden, how did they all coordinate this thing attack around the world? It's like, how do they have this network that can communicate like that? And it's like, okay, but all right. So there were kind of some logistics things, like I was just kind of like, just this didn't make a lot of sense to me, but I think Us is okay. It's just that Get Out is just so amazing. It's hard to, like, when you start out the gate with such a movie like Get Out, it's like everybody's looking like, okay, are you gonna top that? Are you gonna match it? What are you gonna do? It's like the
yeah.
Wiskowski's making The Matrix, or when Kevin Smith made Clerks or something. It's just like when you start off that strong, it's like or when M Night Shyamalan made his first movie was Sixth Sense. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like everybody's looking for you to really top that again, and it's like it's tough to live up to those expectations.
I mean, it is for me. Us is like, if I was giving Us, or if I'm giving oh my gosh, Get Out. If I'm giving Get Out like an A+, I'm giving Us an A. Like, it's like a half step down for me. Like, so much of Us works for me personally,
Mm-hmm.
and the way that everyone plays dual roles, I think is brilliantly done. Also, having Tim Heidecker actually be horrifying outside of being, gross, like on Tim and Eric's Awesome Show, like that alone was something I was like, oh wow, you act and you're actually good in this. Like, Huh, okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot about Us that I just absolutely adore. It is not Get Out. Like Get Out is the better film,
Mhm.
but I don't think the gap is as wide as a lot of people think. That's how I'll put it.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I mean, it's really not much to say about the trailer because it's just like, I mean, could it be like some Close Encounters of the Third Kind type situation?
Easily could be.
Is he kind of taking inspiration from Signs, which was another M Night Shyamalan movie? Maybe, I don't know, but we'll kind of see. But I mean, obviously, I'm hugely interested in this. I like the whole idea of not showing what's coming because so much movies they show a lot of stuff and they don't even really let you kind of experience when you just go to the theater. Try hard to keep it all under wraps, and we'll talk about that later with the Doctor Strange trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for this. You know what I mean, and really excited to see where they go with this and with what he does. Because just the whole thing is scary. Especially when the trailer starts up and those you see Jordan Peele and those white letters. Like those white letters are even terrifying. You know what I mean? Like I mean that's kind.
Right?
You know what
It's
I
so
mean?
simple.
Yeah, so simple but so effective. I think. Okay,
Agreed.
so moving on from the Nope trailer, going to discuss Doctor Strange. The second trailer for
Oh yeah.
the Multiverse of Madness. So in this trailer, you see a lot more. You see a lot more of Wanda. You see a lot more kind of maybe some different variants of different people. Maybe a quick shot of I think that was Monica Rambeau, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe her mother, Marie Rambeau. Um,
Let me pull the trailer back up on my
I
end
have the trailer
here.
playing on
Oh, do you?
stream. Yeah, I'm scrolling. I'm skimming through the trailer right now. I'm trying to find the shot. Yeah. So you kind of see a lot more stuff here of what's kind of be going on. A lot more destruction. The big thing in the trailer, obviously, is you see Doctor Strange being kind of handcuffed, and you see kind of like some Ultron-looking robots. He's being carried into a room.
Yeah.
You see some chairs, and then you hear kind of one of the most iconic voices of any actor, Patrick Stewart, in this. And obviously, Patrick Stewart, who played Charles Xavier for a number of years in the X-Men films. I mean, of course, I mean, you want to hear that voice, you already know who it is. I mean, Patrick Stewart has an incredibly recognizable voice. I mean, he's white Morgan Freeman. I mean, come on. I mean, you already know who's going to be. Uh,
That's a good comparison, actually.
Yeah. So it just with him kind of coming on with his voice, it kind of to me proves that the leaks were right. So I've been seeing leaks against my will. I just been scrolling and then seeing all these
Yeah.
kind of leaks about the stuff. And I get it's hard to kind of keep a lot of this stuff under wraps because so many people, want to know what's going to happen. It's like No Way Home. Like, you know what I mean? Even though I think No Way Home was a little bit more obvious because I mean, obviously, why would you bring the villains back if you're not gonna bring the other Spider-Man back?
Yeah.
That's kind
But
of
but
more
this,
obvious.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how much do you want me to break this down? Because there's a shocking amount that's actually probably or potentially happening here. Because the robots, them looking like Ultron, I do not think is an accident. I
Of
think that is
course.
a very yeah. I think that is a very. I think there's very much a reason for that. But the big thing, as far as the chairs that you see, um, they could be setting up the Illuminati in
Yep.
the MCU. So that's immediately what I thought. So considering they already have Xavier there, that's one. He's usually kind of one of the prime members. Reed Richards is another one. So I'm not saying they're gonna debut Reed Richards here, but
So, have you heard the leaks or no?
so I heard about the potential Iron Man one. That's like the big one I heard, and I
Okay.
heard there's one other one that I heard that I went that's interesting. So I've heard stuff here and there, but
I've
yeah, like
okay. So people listen. If you don't want to hear it, you could just mute us. I'm gonna just talk about it just for a little bit. But these are leaks, quote unquote. This is what some people are saying, rumors. Some stuff that's out there in the sphere or whatever. So the leaks are the rumors are is that like Hunter was saying, the chairs, you see all that stuff, is that they're going to do, like, he's going to step into a universe where there's the Marvel Illuminati. If you don't know the Marvel Illuminati, it's basically it's like a secret group of all these different major superheroes, from all to represent all the major kind of things in the world. So you have Charles Xavier, who represents the mutants. You have Sub Namor, who represents the Atlantic. You have Doctor Strange, who's typically on the Illuminati, to represent the magic world. You have T'Challa, who represents Wakanda, which is one of the most largest, richest nations. You also have Iron Man, Reed Richards, and then the big thing is they said Reed Richards will be on the part of the Illuminati in this movie, and it's going to be John Krasinski, and that also Iron Man is going to be there, but it's not going to be Robert Downey Jr. It's this other variant of Iron Man is going to be Tom Cruise, because at one time Tom Cruise was going to be tapped to be Iron Man way back in like the 90s or early 2000s. There was rumors about him being Iron Man or going to possibly play Iron Man. There were some set photos that were out there, but those looked really photoshopped like crazy to me. Like, those look really bad. I was like, I don't think that looks really there. I don't think that's there. But, and then also there was also a situation where people said like James McAvoy, because there was a photo of him with his head shaved. So there was some rumors that he would also come back.
Interesting.
Come back, and then also somebody pointed out with Sophie Turner, who played Jean Grey in the X-Men movies, that they saw her with like her hair more dyed red, so they were also speculating that maybe she was going to come back as well. So that's kind of the big kind of things kind of going on here with it, and everything like that. And I guess Marvel just doesn't care, because they were like, listen, you're going to see this regardless. So we don't really give a shit if it's spoiled.
Yeah, they really don't care. Like, at this point, Marvel could be like, hey, there's a broom starring in our next movie, and people would go see it. Like, they're at that point where they would have to fuck up a lot for people to not support the brand.
This is the shot I'm talking about. I don't know if you can see it on the stream, but this is the like, there's somebody who comes out and attacks Wanda. Like, and I think it's either Monica or maybe Marie Rambeau here. Like, do you see that?
God, that shot. Yeah. So it's funny. I had someone ask me if they thought. So I think that's the variant of Iron Man, because typically the superior Iron Man has his face exposed, and kind of the gauntlet that he has around his face that looks similar in the face. The other thing is it maybe Human Torch? Like, there's a world where...
I don't know. I mean, I kind of at first looking at it, I was like, when it went by so fast, I was like, oh, maybe it's Human Torch. But I was like, looking at it, I was like, I don't know. It seems like more like Marie Rambeau, because she's kind of got the short hair. Kind of, if you look close, it kind of seems like she's got the short hair, like how she had there. Let me go back to it real quick. It kind of looks like her a little bit. It looks like kind of maybe a woman. I don't know. It's kind of because it's so all this energy that that the person is wrapped in. It's kind of hard to make out what it is. And then there's that line with Wanda talking to Doctor Strange,
which should terrify everyone. I told y'all this bitch was gonna destroy reality, and everyone's like, that's mean. No, she's gonna destroy reality. Yeah. Like, read House of M.
Do you remember what she exactly said? Do you remember exactly what she said?
Yeah, no more. Or talking about the trailer?
Yeah.
Well, she goes, you change, you alter and mess with time, and you're a hero, and I do it, and I'm vilified. And the way she says that doesn't seem fair, that doesn't seem right. I went, oh, that's something a villain would say. We should all be very concerned. And Good.
The quote was, "You break the rules and become the hero. I do it. I become the enemy. That doesn't seem fair." Well, I mean, it reminds me of that meme that popped up in the first trailer where he's talking to Doctor Strange, where she's talking to him and goes like, "Oh yeah, I know. Are you here about West Point?" You know what I mean? And it was kind of, the meme was, bitch, you went crazy. But I'm not here about that. I'm here about something else. It's like, I mean, because when you really look at WandaVision, it was like, you were the villain of that story here. I mean, you entrapped these people in prison,
Oh
basically,
yeah.
in your own little fantasy to play games, to play like a little dollhouse, and you know, you kind of, yeah. I mean, it's like, come on now. I mean, like Doctor Strange has never done anything like that. You know what I mean? Maybe in another universe, maybe, but not in this universe that we saw.
Y- Yeah, so here's the thing. Like I will be the first to admit, like, yes, did Wanda absolutely fuck up? Absolutely she did by keeping all those people from Westview, under her spell and everything. But I would like to point out that it was that evil white man who was working for Shield who pushed her to a psychotic break. So yes, does she take some blame? Absolutely, but also blame that fucker. This is all her. That's what's scary because at the end of WandaVision, that mid-credit scene, we see her reading from the Darkhold, trying to go ahead and get her kids back, and you hear like their voices, and even fucking Agatha was like, "Bitch, you're messing with things that you're not privy to, that you're not aware of," and she kind of just shrugs it off, and that's why I think we could very easily get a House of M moment at the end of this movie. Like, because at some point, in theory, the multiverse will be closed, kind of similar to the Ultimate Universe being, bridged into the main canon. At some point, we'll get there, but for now, it just seems like it feels like this is exactly what King the Conqueror wants. Like, King is just sitting back, like, oh, awesome. I thought I had to fuck with a bunch of stuff. Oh, no, Wanda's gonna do it? Cool. Like, this all just seems so bad, but in the best way, because the possibilities are literally limitless considering what they're doing with the multiverse right now.
Yeah. How big of a role do you think America Chavez has in this? Do you think she has a pretty hugely significant role here?
I think she's gonna have a pretty significant role because this is just another step towards Young Avengers.
Yeah.
so so I feel like she'll have a pretty I think she'll have a pretty substantial role. I'm happy she's in this period. Like when I heard that she was debuting here, I was like, oh shit, okay, that's awesome. But from just the fact we've seen her in a couple different scenes, I think she'll be pretty prominent, personally.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. I mean, because it makes sense because her power is to travel through multi dimensions. So yeah, it makes sense that she would, yeah, really be heavily prominent in here. But yeah, I mean, like you said, I would. It's like with the No Way Home stuff. It's like, yeah, I mean, it just kind of made sense that, I mean, I already kind of figured, like, you bring the villains back. Why would you bring the villains if you're not going to bring the other Spider-Man back? But this stuff with the Marvel Illuminati, and then with all this other stuff of all these, maybe these other characters possibly going to show up and all these details, it's like, well, I mean, I guess the leakers were right then. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like I guess they were right, and I guess
Yeah.
their information's kind of on point because they didn't even try to, keep that a secret all that much. It's like, fuck it, okay, fine. Patrick Stewart is in it. Okay, here we go. Fine, fuck it.
Right. Like
You,
shut up. Fine. Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I think we get Hugh. I think we get Hugh Jackman. By the way, I'm calling that shit right now. I think even if it's just for a minute, I think we get a Wolf. I think we get a Wolverine variant at some point in this.
And it's
Like,
gonna be Hugh Jackman.
even if it, I think it's gonna be Hugh Jackman. I'm calling that shit right now. I'm shooting my shot. I think he's in it.
That's the thing. So with this, it's like the fear of, like, with No Way Home is, it's like, listen, I like No Way Home. Think it's a good movie. I had a lot of fun with it. But it was a movie carried by, it was nostalgia, and it was like, hey, it's like, hey, we got the three Spider-Man, and we're going to have them all interact, which was cool and was fun. And yeah, but it was like, if the fact that people love this, it just kind of, it's like studios will go like, okay, but we got to do that again. We got to recreate that moment again because we want another $2 billion movie, and we wanted to break the record again. And so with this, it's like they're going like, okay, well, what's another way to do that? Oh yeah, let's bring in people like the X-Men movies, and people love Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier, so let's bring him back. And even though I thought he had a good send off in Logan, and I thought Hugh Jackman as Wolverine had a perfect send off in Logan, so I was like, I don't really want to see Charles Xavier back. I don't really want to see Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier or Hugh Jackman back. Like, they had their movies. They had their movies for a long time. They played those characters for over a decade. I mean, they were the pretty much. I think don't they
Yeah.
have the record for playing a superhero character the
Yeah.
longest. Like, they played them
They
ever
do.
since 2000. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, they had their time, it's fine. With Toby and Andrew, it's like, well, Andrew never had a third movie, and his series ended kind of unceremoniously. And then Toby Maguire, it's like, okay, they messed up his third movie. Even though I don't hate Spider-Man 3, it's not even the worst Spider-Man movie anymore. That's Amazing Spider-Man 2. But
Correct.
so it's like, okay, well, I could see that, and then okay, and they were trying to do the Spider Verse thing, like which was already done in the cartoon already. So it's like, okay, fine, but it's just like, you know, those characters, they played them for so long. It's like I don't really need to see them back. Like even James McAvoy, if you brought him back as Charles Xavier, he played that character for such a long time. And so I mean, I get he was in some bad ones like Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but you did have some good ones too. You had Days of Future Past, and you had First Class. So you did
Yeah.
have some good ones. Kind of, what are your thoughts on that?
So I think what they're gonna do, because we've got Miss Marvel coming up, I think they're gonna use the multiverse of madness to go ahead and just introduce the X gene overall. Because I think what they're gonna do, instead of making Kamala Khan an Inhuman, I think they're gonna make her a mutant, because that's just easier. You can just go, she's a mutant, shut up. And I think that's gonna be kind of the function of the X-Men in this, outside of the Illuminati, to go ahead, because even in Eternals, they go and talk about kind of that gene. They don't call it the X gene, but you know, they talk about that God gene, or I believe is what they call it in Eternals. But they're clearly setting up to go ahead and go, hey, X-Men have been around, or mutants have been around for, you know, millions of years or thousands, whatever. I think that's why we're getting the X-Men now, because even if we get just a 2 minute, hey, we're the Illuminati, we've been monitoring, you know, the Eternals, we've been monitoring this, we've been monitoring that, X gene exists, you can cut it there and then go ahead and say, oh, there are young variants of, you know, a core X-Men team. Like you could do a young Cyclops, young Jean Grey, recast them with different actors, and then go ahead and that's your basis for a new X-Men franchise. Which I think is exactly what they're gonna do, or at least set up the pieces for at worst. So I think that's why they're bringing them back, and I think at this point they're just trying to go ahead and consolidate as much as the insanity timelines as they possibly can, while admittedly playing off nostalgia. But I think they can do both. So I
Yeah,
think that's the main purpose as far as why they're bringing everything in.
but how much nostalgia is with some of these? Because not all these actors were beloved, you know, in the roles that they played. Because like, yeah, Patrick
Sure.
Stewart, Hugh Jackman, yes. Even I guess James McAvoy, I think he did a good job, and people like him.
Yeah.
But you know, like I said, after a while, those movies got pretty bad. And it's
Yeah.
like Sophie Turner as Jean Grey. I like Sophie Turner. I think she's a good actress. I just think the movies she was in were bad. I think that, you know, because she was in Dark Phoenix, she was in Apocalypse. I think she could make a good Jean Grey, but I don't think anybody goes like, man, I really love Sophie Turner as Jean Grey. You can't, you know, it's hard to see anyone else playing Jean Grey. It's like I think you can get somebody else that can be Jean Grey. Are you going to bring back? You know, you already kind of blew your wad with Evan Peters as Quicksilver. You can't really do that again. So
Yeah.
he's off. Are you gonna try to do Michael Fassbender? Are you gonna try to do what was the Tyler Sheridan who's played Cyclops?
Sheridan. Yeah.
I
Well,
don't think
if
he
he
was that great as Cyclops. I don't think he's that beloved.
he
So
no,
you know, so it's like okay, you know, so it's like are you just gonna pick and choose like that?
I think that's exactly what they're going to do. It's because if you notice in the trailer, Xavier says, you know, we like, you know, should we tell them who we are, or something to that effect. So I think he's talking to Magneto. I think he's talking to McKellen personally, or he's talking to a version of Magneto. I would almost bet it's McKellen, because I'm
Mm,
sure he's like sure, why not? You know, I have to sit in a chair. you know,
right.
but I think that's exactly what they're doing. I think they're going to go ahead and, even if they're cutting off a couple timelines, the variants that will be remaining, or the ones that are teased, are going to be the ones that set up this new X-Men film moving forward. I think I think they're, because they went through and they did what, two, like a month and a half of reshoots or something like that. So I think that this is being very meticulously done to go ahead and set up your Fantastic Four team, go ahead and introduce the X gene, and that might be all they do. But I think there's going to be a lot of pieces set up. Because keep in mind, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantum Mania next year, which is going to delve even more into the quantum realm, which really could lend itself to even more cameos if they wanted to go that route. So
Yeah.
I think they're really setting up a lot of pieces at play for Kane to go ahead and kind of fuck shit up. I think
Yeah.
that's really going to be one of the main functions.
Yeah, I just don't want it to be because I like Sam Raimi coming back, doing another movie again, or just doing it, just not even a superhero movie, just doing a movie. Period. Because it's been since
Same.
Oz the Great and Powerful since he's done his last movie.
Yes, that was what 2013,
2015. So
2015. Damn. Okay.
so it's been a while. So I really like Sam Raimi. I would love to see him play around with this stuff. I just don't want it to be like, hey, but we got to throw this character in here. We got to throw this character in here, and it's just Easter egg the movie. And it's just like, oh, let's bring all these classic characters back, and people can just cheer and just. We don't really have to actually make a good movie. We just have to just carry it off of nostalgia because that's kind of what No Way Home was. I mean, I think it's still a good story, No Way Home, and they worked it into it well and everything like that. But a lot of it is like the villains of it. It's like I remember this villain from Spider-Man, the first with Tobey Maguire, and I remember this villain from
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2, and you know what I mean, and it's kind of carried on that, and even though I did like it and did enjoy it, so I don't want it to be like Doctor Strange is being his whole movie's being taken away because of the cameos, because of all the extra characters and all this other stuff, and a chance for Sam Raimi to really play around with the magic and the monsters because we know he's good at the horror stuff and he's good at the action comedy stuff and do you feel like from this trailer like Sam Raimi's DNA feels on it?
Yes, because so I got stoned as hell going to the first Doctor Strange. I will not be doing that with this one because it looks like they're leaning more into the horror. Even that shot of Strange going through the mirror dimension and seeing that shatter and seeing his face, like I was like, oh no, okay, yep, no, no edibles before this movie. It looks like Raimi's fingerprints are definitely on it as far as leaning to the horror. Because I mean, we get that evil version, of Strange, which is from What If. The fact that's appearing in live action, it really does feel like, especially with Shuma Gorath. I mean, they're leaning into the horror elements of this, and I just don't see a way that this film. How do I put this? I don't see a way where this film ends happy.
Mm,
I think it'll be more akin to a No Way Home ending where the movie ends, but maybe we're kind of left with, all right, here's kind of where we're going, but you probably won't be thrilled about it. Not like because it'll suck, but just because it's gonna be things are gonna get darker. Like I think Wanda could easily break the multiverse by the time this movie is over because you pointed out in WandaVision she doesn't know how strong she is yet, and she's coming into this movie stronger, which again is bad. That's very fucking bad, and so the whole notion that she could just break everything. I mean, she did it with a town. It's
mm.
really not a stretch to say that she could easily go ahead and break a dimension or two, or if not everything.
Yeah,
Because yeah,
I wouldn't mind seeing her as the villain. I wouldn't mind. I would like that a lot. I would welcome that. Seeing her kind of turn into a villain and seeing this friend turn foe and to see them someone who is as powerful as she is. Because like Agatha said, she's on par with even more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme. Actually, not even on par. She can surpass the Sorcerer Supreme. That is Doctor
yes,
Strange. But yeah, and like you said, with the American Chavez character, I mean, they're setting up the Young Avengers. I mean, Marvel. I mean,
yeah,
they with all the Disney Plus shows, they've introduced all the Young Avengers already. So
yeah, basically, yeah, they're all
so
there.
I mean, they're smart. I mean, they're really smart. I mean, they got the shit planned out. So they're like, yep, we're ready. You old geezers can get out of here. We already got the new crop of young people coming in.
Oh,
Um,
that's a thing. Yeah, watch Fast and Furious will start doing this like on the next movie. It'll be like, oh man, Dom can't fit into that tank top anymore. Oh well, thank God. I don't know Bad Bunny. Thank God he's around.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna start swapping out the the quote old for the new. I mean, this is how, just like in comics, this is how it goes. But
Yeah.
don't. The term chaos magic exists in the MCU. It's not called happy magic. Like, Wanda's gonna fuck things up. It's just a matter of to what degree she's going to. So,
Yeah.
yeah, May can't come soon enough. I'm hyped for this.
Me too. Me too. All right. So moving on from discussing Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness trailer, we're going to be discussing Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. So this is the TV show that Amazon spent over $1 billion on. They spent a lot of money on this show. This is the Lord of the Rings show. They're going like they're swinging for the fences with this show for the amount of money that they're spending on it. They're really planning on it being a huge success. This is kind of just a teaser trailer, a little bit. There's really nothing too much to show. They did also some press releases of some photos that were in Vanity Fair. Did you see those photos?
I did. So really, I think the photos are more interesting than the footage we got. To be honest, like it's a lot of just words and just not a lot to break down. And I will take this nerd plunge and admit I've only seen the Lord of the Rings films once, twice. I watched the theatricals and then I watched the extendeds, but um yes, that is true, Nick. Chump change, exactly. But it's frustrating because the shots are beautiful. Like there's no disputing that. Like you can see the money on the screen, but is the story gonna work? Because let's be real, they stretched the Hobbit out over 3 movies when that should have been 1, 2 tops. So can they sustain a show for? Because they already said they signed this for 2 seasons already, so
Yeah.
they need this to be a hit. That's why your Prime subscription just went up. So
Yeah.
they need this shit to work.
Yeah, we got to pay for this show. Um,
Yeah.
So I mean, this show. So correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, it's taken place thousands and thousands of years before.
Correct.
We see the first Lord of the Rings movie, Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah, before Fellowship.
Yeah. So it's taken thousands, and I've seen Lord of the Rings trilogy. Actually, watching this trailer actually made me want to go back and actually watch the Lord of the Rings movie again. And not the Hobbit movies though. I don't like the Hobbit movies. But big mistake with the Hobbit movies. I mean, there's some cool things in it. I like Martin Freeman as Bilbo. I like Smaug. I like Benedict Cumberbatch as Smaug. I think that's pretty good. But then it goes kind of off with the fuck. It kind of goes. What's that actor's name? Jesus, who played the lead? What's his name? You remember?
Oh, Elijah Wood? Are you talking about?
No. In the Hobbit movie.
Oh, Martin Freeman.
No. The one who was the
Oh crap! I know who you're talking about. I cannot think of their name.
Okay.
I know who you're referring to. Yeah, but yes, them.
Yeah. It just kind of went off the rails with him. I'm trying to think of the character's name. Damn it. But with this, you see kind of a little bit of things with kind of the teaser. A little bit of kind of there. So nothing really to sink your teeth into all that much. But like with what you said with the Hunter with the press release, I saw some of the photos. Some of the photos look pretty good. Do you think it looks as good as like this is a show that you can tell that they spent a lot of money on it effects wise, or do you think it looks kind of rough, or it doesn't look anything special?
So I actually think it looks really special, like just the wide sweeping shots, taking a step back, going okay, like I can see the money on the screen, which is a good thing. My big question is, can you execute? Because I think the seasons are 10 episodes apiece, I believe. Can you execute that for 2 seasons? at least 2 seasons, because I'm sure that they want to keep the shit going for as long as they can.
Right.
But the other, but the other thing is, and this is a question I don't think a lot of people are asking: are people going to have Game of Thrones like hangover?
Right.
Like, are people going to still feel so burned from that they don't want to give, another fantasy show on this scale a chance? And that's a question that I will get an answer to later this year. I think they'll be okay, but there is that chance that no matter how good this show could be, that people are like, fantasy, last time I got invested, I got screwed. So maybe people stay away because of that. There's a chance.
Mm. Well, I mean, The Witcher is doing really, really well on Netflix. And so that's kind of their Game of Thrones kind of show that they're doing. You know what I mean? I don't mean to say all medieval fantasy stuff is Game of Thrones, but
No.
but yeah, that show's doing really well. So people really like that. I know season two. Some people, I don't know if some people it kind of diverted a lot from the books and things like that, but it still did pretty well rating wise. I mean, a lot of people still one of Netflix's highest streamed shows. They're in this highest stream things in general, and so I think they're trying to do that. Obviously, make it Game of Thrones times 10. Amazon's trying to kind of do other things, and Amazon actually, the streaming wars, the streaming race. It's like, listen, we got our nukes. We're gonna go against your nukes. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, listen, we got to have some ammunition here. And Amazon, when it comes to original content, I mean, hey, they got The Boys, they got Invincible. Now they have this Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power show. Now they Reacher, which people are talking about.
Wheel of Time, I've heard, is actually really good. That's another fantasy show that just premiered a couple months ago that apparently did well. So
yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
I mean, they got the Incredible Miss Maisel. Like, they've got some shows, so it's not like Amazon is a slouch in the, obviously The Boys is really huge for them, but they've got that. I know I'm forgetting of other stuff, but yeah, Amazon's got some hits over there, so
yeah,
this could be another one.
Yeah, I mean they have their they got their critically acclaimed shows like The Boys and Invincible, they're critically acclaimed too, but they also have like more of the traditional kind of stuff like the Marvelous Miss Maisel or
yes,
that show, Fleabag with Phoebe Waller-Bridge, which I found
was wonderful.
I finally watched that show after it had been off for a little bit, and I'm like, oh yeah, damn, this show is really funny. It's really good. I really like it a lot. So they kind of got their kind of shows like that with this too. Like you said, I think it looks good. It's primarily, so this focuses on, it's going to be Elrod, who's a half human, half elven. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, please correct me.
That sounds right.
So it's kind of going to be that. And also I think with this, there's also black characters in this, and you know how that goes, and fantasy stuff.
Oh yeah, Twitter's been super happy about that. Like, why are there black elves? It's so fucking dumb.
You know how that goes. And then also I saw some people complain about the woman in the armor, which that was in Lord of the Rings anyway. I mean that I already saw that, and
which people read a book.
Because I was thinking in my head, I was like I remember in Lord of the Rings that scene where she takes off her helmet and goes, I'm no man. I'm like, oh, if that came out today, oh my god, it'd be endless videos about it, endless articles about it, endless people complaining about it on Twitter. I'm like, it'd be non-stop. I'm just like, oh shit, if that came out today. What do you think this series is? Do you think immediately people are going to go like, it's like, okay, it's not as good as Lord of the Rings movies? Or do you think they're going to go like, well, it can't be any worse or better than the Hobbit movies? Like, what do you think is kind of like the general sense there?
So what's going to be interesting is if it can be better than Game of Thrones and The Witcher out of the gate. I think that's going to be a big litmus test for a lot of people. But how do I put this? I think a lot of people have kind of accepted that it can't touch the movies, and that's fine. Like, it's okay if it can't touch the Lord of the Rings films, because again, I know a lot of people, that's one of their, if not their favorite trilogy of films ever. But if it can be better than The Hobbit and better than Game of Thrones potentially, I think most people will be happy with that. I mean, we're talking about nerds, who are never happy, but I think if it can clear those two hurdles, I think most people will be satisfied.
Have you read the books of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and everything?
Years ago, when I was like 12, it's been a minute.
Yeah, same.
But yeah,
Uh,
but I remember really enjoying the books, and like I said, like the what I remember about the movies I like, but I have not watched them enough to go ahead and be able to like rattle things off about them. I just remember liking them,
yeah,
but
yeah. I mean, I haven't
I'm due
seen.
for a rewatch.
Yeah, me too. Maybe we'll do before the series comes out. We'll do a rewatch of the Lord of the Rings movies. You know what I mean. We'll do a rewatch. This comes out September 2nd. It's coming out.
Oh shoot, okay. I
Yeah,
mean that's time though. At least that's time to rewatch them.
yeah. I mean, actually, if I start tomorrow watching them, I should. It should already be September 2nd. If I start tomorrow and watch the three movies, it will be already September 2nd already. So, yeah.
If you watch the extended, it'll definitely take you that.
Yeah. It would already. I look outside my window. Boom. Look at it's already seasons have changed. Boom. Look at the
Oh,
calendar.
fall leaves.
Yeah. Yeah. It's already September. So yeah. But yeah. I mean, it looks good to me. I mean, I can't wait for it. I mean, I'm. If it's bad, it's bad. If it's good, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want it to fail. I don't look at a picture and go like, this is gonna fucking suck. I just go like, okay, even if I don't like a picture, I go like, well, it's just a picture. I gotta actually see what's going on. I gotta see the dialogue. I gotta see how the actors are. I gotta see what the writing is in this. I don't know. I'm just gonna go off on a rant on Twitter and go like, it sucks because I saw a picture. You know what I mean? And it's a still, but okay.
Like this isn't even really enough to draw from as far as a trailer. Like it is the definition of a teaser. So like it's really not really anything for us to break down. It's just a little bit of footage. It's more of a quick sizzle reel than even a teaser. So people going like, "Oh my god, this sucks," or "Oh my god, this looks great." It's like you've seen a minute of, not even a minute. You've seen like a 30 seconds of footage. Like, let's calm down. So once we get an official trailer, I think we'll get one around. I'll say July.
Yeah.
I'll say June.
Yeah.
Then we can have a deeper conversation about what this could potentially be. But from what we've seen, I'm intrigued, and that's kind of where I stand on it. So
Let me see who's the showrunner of this. Actually, I don't even know who's the showrunner of this show. Actually,
I do not know. Actually, that is a really good question.
yeah, I wonder who the showrunner is. Nick, if you can post that in the chat for us, that'd be great. If you're there, Nick, post who the showrunner is of Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. That'd be great. All right, we're gonna be moving on. Do you want to discuss the Moon Knight teaser? It was like the 30-second thing. Do you want to do that? Like the little TV spot?
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to break down on that. They're just kind of dipping more to the multiple personalities that he has. We get a little more of the costume in action, which looks badass. Like the actual Moon Knight costume, I'm here for that shit. And Ethan Hawke, man, Ethan Hawke with long hair just looks like he should be a villain in Far Cry 5, which makes me really happy, which makes me very happy. But yeah, there's not a ton to break down in it. It's a lot. It's a good amount of recycled footage that we saw from the first trailer, but we get that next month. Like we get that in just over a month, I believe. So I'm really excited for Moon Knight, and I just want to see Oscar Isaacs in a good comic book film, not Apocalypse. So
Yeah. Well, he was in Spider Verse. He was in that for
that's
like
true. That's right. I
he
was
had a
forgetting
cameo
about
in
that. Yeah,
that.
he's great in that. Yeah.
What was the other one he was in? I'll say he was in another one. I can't remember. Because he was in Spider Verse, he was in Apocalypse, and I felt like he was in another one. I felt like
Was he?
I want to say he was. I can't remember exactly, but I want to say he was. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a short little kind of 30-second, like you said. I liked him swooping down on the kind of guys like that, so with the cape all up, swooping down on them. That was pretty nice. Also,
There you go. J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay. They were writers for Star Trek Beyond, who are the showrunners.
Oh, I like Star Trek Beyond.
I do too. I think people kind of harp on that one. I think all three of them. I know people go like, I know Into Darkness.
Yeah.
It's just Wrath of God. Like, I know Trek nerds. I get it. Okay, but I enjoy all three of them. But Beyond is my biggest issue with Beyond is I think they just underutilize Idris Elba. That's really my biggest gripe with Beyond. Everything else about it, as far as breaking off, different members of the team into different, configurations that we wouldn't normally see. I love how they did that. So a lot of Beyond works for me, but the villain is just underdeveloped. It's almost like Hancock in that way. So yeah. Hopefully that's better.
Yeah, that was kind of my biggest issue. I mean, you get a really talented actor in Idris Elba, you don't really use him all that much. I mean, he's just basically like a thug with breathing problems, basically. He's got asthma.
He doesn't even have a lightsaber to justify it, so it's like, what the...
Hey, how's it going there, Morgan? How's it feeling, man? Morgan is a streamer. He's from New Zealand. We were just talking about Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
Morgan, bonjour.
Yeah. And my night is going well, man. Just watched the Super Bowl. We did that. Covered some trailers. Jordan Peele's Nope. We did the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. We talked about the Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power trailer. That's a show coming on Amazon Prime. Morgan, he does. He's a fitness streamer. Does a lot of workout stuff on there. So hey, if you get some good workout tips from him, I'm trying to get my summer body ready. Hey man, 2022, I'm accomplishing these goals, man. I'm getting ready, man. Beach body coming. I'm telling you. You know what I mean? It's coming. So. Maybe Morgan, he could be a trainer for 50 Cent. We were just talking about 50 Cent. Maybe he could be a trainer for him. You know what I'm saying? Get him back in the club shape and everything like that. So if you guys could check him out, give him a follow. Morgan Aspel Official, ASPINALL Official, all one word there. Morgan, just guys give him a follow. Yeah. Hey, man, beach bar season. Yeah, like I said, beach bar season, man. Thank you for coming by, man. Much appreciated. Much love, man. We were talking about what were we talking about? Oh yeah, Moon Knight. Yeah, so that was kind of cool. What do you think about the shows? So they just got announced that that all the Marvel Netflix shows are leaving after this month. So what do you think they're gonna do with them?
They're gonna go on Hulu. That's a logical place to put them. I mean, yeah. So some people are like, they're gonna end up on Disney Plus. That's adorable. There's no goddamn way they'll end up on Disney Plus. They're going to Hulu. It makes sense considering, Disney owns most of the Hulu stock and all that. So I think we'll hear about that under 2 weeks from when the shows get moved from Netflix. I think they'll be on that kind of quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're gonna go on Hulu, which that's great because I have Hulu, so good.
Yeah. I guess so. I mean, that seems like a logical thing to do. I guess. I don't know. They're putting Moon Knight on Disney Plus. I mean, how violent is Moonlight gonna be? Moon Knight, I don't know, but
I'm curious about that. Yeah.
And then it begs the question because like. I remember they were trying to do Liz McGuire reboot, and at first they were talking about putting it on Disney Plus, but they were like, "Well, this is kind of too adult." And Hilary Duff was talking about it, and she was saying like, "Well, they didn't want to put it on Disney Plus," and I'm like, "Well, it's going to be discussing sex, and because it's going to be about her life now as a 30-year-old woman, now as Liz McGuire, and it's going to be involved in all this kind of stuff, discussing sex and relationships and things like that." And they were like, maybe we can't really do that on Disney Plus." And then it was kind of maybe floating around on what they were going to do, and they didn't put it on Hulu, and it kind of ended up canceled. I don't know. I maybe would have liked to see that. I don't know. But then Hilary Duff, she got stuck doing the How I Met Your, Father remake of How I Met Your Mother or whatever. So yeah.
So bad. So goddamn. And that's one reason why Disney, come on, y'all. what are you gonna do with the Lizzie McGuire IP? You're just gonna sit on the shit and do nothing with it. Like after How I Met Your Father, which I have watched, and God bless Lizzie McGuire, she is way too talented of an actress to be a part of that fucking show. If you want to see Lizzie McGuire, if you want to see Hilary Duff in something more adult, watch this show called Younger. You can watch that on Hulu. She's great on there. She's an actually great comedian, and they just How I Met Your Father is so bad. It's really depressing too. Like, and I'm trying with that show, but yeah, give her Lizzie McGuire. Who the fuck cares? Like, everyone who watched Lizzie McGuire as a kid is her age anyway. So who the fuck cares? Like, give her a goddamn make it a 10-episode miniseries and call it good. You don't even need to make it multiple seasons, but let's just catch up with the character. I think that'd be fascinating to watch.
Yeah. Nick said here, Audible groan. They'll go on Hulu after a bit. Maybe Disney Plus internationally.
Yeah.
I'm on Japan's Disney Plus, and Hit Monkey's on there.
Hit Monkey's great.
Yeah, it's great. So we did that review. We put that on the site. You were there for that review we did there.
That's what it was, yeah.
How violent Moon Knight gets is going to determine if Netflix heroes go to Disney Plus. Let's see. Have a 30-year-old Hilary Duff and let us not believe she's fucking. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Morgan put, I loved How I Met Your Mother. I've never seen the show. I've never seen the show personally.
Really? So you if you watch How I Met Your Mother, stop around season 4 and just pretend that it ends there, because it's it's probably the second worst series finale I've seen, independent of Dexter, not counting New Blood. Oh, it's one of those, like,
I heard about it. I heard about it. I never watched it, but I did hear about it. And yeah, I know, some people didn't like it. Yeah, I follow another guy, another streamer. His name was like Ernie SKZ. And he's like a huge fan of How I Met Your Mother. And he was like, I was like, oh yeah, they have How I Met Your Father. And he's like, oh yeah, I fucking hate that show. Because it's just a remake of a remake of the show. But Hilary Duff is fine though. She's fine as hell though.
Hilary Duff is great. Like, she really is someone who's better a lot of times than the material that she's given, and that is the definition of How I Met Your Father. It's weird to watch a show especially because it's like Kim Cattrall plays her older, and she's drunk talking to her son about her fucking, like, while he's at college. It's like, that's weird. Why are you it's a weird dynamic for the show.
Actually, that kind of Kim Cattrall is like an old Hilary Duff. That kind of older Hilary Duff. I kind of see that.
I mean, I could see, like aesthetically, I could totally see it, but you have to really get past and I just can't, like, because she's calling her kid on Zoom drunk, like, oh yeah, let me tell you how I used to get it back in 2022, and it's like, why are you calling me drunk, mother? Please don't tell me about how you used to fuck, which is a big problem with How I Met Your Mother anyway, but regardless, but yeah, give Hilary Duff something better than How I Met Your Father, for fuck's sake. She deserves better.
Morgan said, yeah, the last season was sad. I enjoyed the rest. Okay. Yeah, and then it seems like, I guess everybody from the cast of Elizabeth McGuire, they all seem well adjusted. Like, nobody, it's not like a That's So Raven situation where you got kind of like Orlando Brown and
there's none of that. Yeah, he
and like
he went stark Raven mad, as it were.
And then, like, what happened with the brother? What did he do? The brother, like, he was messaging underage girls or something. The brother.
Yeah, Kyle. I can't think of his last name.
Yeah,
Kyle Rainey or something like that.
Yeah. So that cast, and then Raven. Even Raven herself. I mean, yeah, she's a little nuts.
Kyle Massey. My bad. Yeah. But
the white girl was cool though. She seemed good. The white girl, she seemed alright. Well, Chelsea. Yeah, she seemed good.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I've always found. But yeah, that she seems the one who's the most okay out of the 4 kids, which, I mean, that's almost a backhanded compliment because Raven, Raven's losing her shit, and but yeah, I mean, I really do hope it's something that Disney revisits, because considering we're getting a new Proud Family, I mean, I know they're not making it like, like TVMA or anything like that, but they are going back to these things that they can revive. And Proud Family, thank goodness they're bringing that back. I absolutely adore that show, but
Yeah.
bring back Lizzie McGuire. Why the hell not?
Yeah, I haven't seen Liz McGuire in a long time, since I was a kid, man. They bring back all the shit that I watched when I was a kid. I guess that's the cycle, you know what I mean? Like you live, old enough that it's gonna bring back shit you remember. Yeah, I mean, like think about how Gen X people feel, like people in the '80s, you know what I mean? It's like '80s, '70s, like
Right.
bringing back all that stuff. But yeah. With the Proud Family, I want to watch all the Proud Family series before the revival comes out.
Fair.
Just because I haven't watched it in years. Where's Liz McGuire? Where's that streaming on Disney Plus?
That's on Disney Plus. Yeah,
Okay,
that's on Disney Plus. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I should
Yeah.
watch that sometime because I haven't watched that in
Yeah.
years. Yeah.
The Liz McGuire movie is surprise. Like I remember taking my one of my sisters to go see that, and that's a movie that holds up shockingly well. The Liz McGuire movie. That's actually Disney caring.
Yeah. Yeah, me and Nick, we talked about it. Yeah, not all revivals I feel like are bad. I mean, I think some are pretty good. Like some, make sense. Like Samurai Jack, that never had an ending, so it makes sense to bring that show back. And like some shows, like what another show that kind of never think that the revival was pretty good. I'm trying to think. But yeah, Samurai Jack was a big one that I was like, oh yeah, I'm great, because it just went off the air. It never had a proper ending of that show. Yeah, but it seems like a lot of shows are getting revived. Like King of the Hill is going to come back. Justified's going to come back. They're trying to bring.
I'm hyped for Justified. Yeah, give me more of that.
They're trying to bring Futurama back, but John DiMaggio doesn't want to come back to do Bender.
They'll sign the check and he'll come back.
Yeah.
DuckTales, the DuckTales revival was fucking awesome.
DuckTales.
I love the Twin Peaks revival too. I thought that was great. The Veronica Mars one worked for me as well too. I really like that one.
I watched Veronica Mars was on the air, but I never saw the revival. Because I was like, okay, I had to rewatch all of. I was like, I wanted to rewatch all of Veronica Mars again from the start to go back again, because I forgot so much. So I was like, because I haven't seen it in such a long time, but I never did. I always wanted to go back and go to the revival, but. Yeah, but Futurama revival doesn't excite me, because it's like that show's already had like 3 endings already. So I'm like, okay, you're already done already. I mean, I don't really need to see it again, but I mean,
it's so funny. I've only seen like 3 episodes ever of Futurama, and that's a show I have people constantly yelling at me like, "What the fuck? How have you not watched Futurama?" I haven't gotten to it yet. Sorry, y'all.
Yeah, it's on. You can watch all the episodes on Hulu. Yeah, you watch all the episodes on Hulu.
Yeah, it's on my wish list. It's on my watch list along with like 80 other things. Like I will get to it at some point, but I just haven't sat down and started it yet.
Yeah. All right. So moving on from Moon Knight, I'm gonna be get into the reviews. We're done with the news. Get into some of these reviews here. So with Reacher, I only saw like a couple episodes because I came home because I had to watch the movies. And then try to get in some episodes before the Super Bowl. Then Super Bowl came on, had to do that. So I only saw like a couple episodes. I'll discuss a little briefly, but I'll go more in depth next week, next Saturday. I'll go more in depth on the show and go because I've seen all the episodes by then. And next week Friday we're going to be doing Uncharted, which is that movie's coming out. So I'm going to be seeing that. Then also Friday is the Peacemaker finale, so we're gonna be also talking about that.
Yes.
Yeah. You're gonna come on for the Peacemaker finale, right?
I will be on for the Peacemaker finale.
Friday. Okay, great.
I'll be on.
All right, so we're gonna be getting into our first review of the day. We're gonna be discussing "Marry Me." Marry me, marry me, marry me. That song kind of sucked. That song fucking sucked in the movie. But we're going to be discussing Marry Me, the Jennifer Lopez movie with Owen Wilson. So here in this movie, you have Jennifer Lopez, who is this famous, basically playing herself. I mean, basically it's Jennifer Lopez playing Jennifer Lopez. Yes. She's a super famous pop star. And it's kind of funny. What was kind of cracking me up about the movie is I'm like, is this movie like a funny meta commentary about Jennifer Lopez's life? Because it mentions how she was married multiple times in her character in the movie. And then she even says in the movie that, oh yeah, I was one time I even got married to a music producer and everything like that. I'm like, oh, is that like a reference to Diddy, and everything like that. I'm like, oh, because like you said, she's a super famous pop star. She has all these, people love her, world famous. She plays that her what's her character name in this? It's Cat
Cat
Valdez.
Valdez. Yeah.
And she's currently dating this guy who's like a Bad Bunny, J Balvin type of Latin singer.
I
Uh,
had no idea who this motherfucker was. I have never seen this dude.
yeah.
I was like, who is this?
But he's a singer and songwriter himself. In real life, his name is Malma.
Maluma?
Maluma.
Maluma? Yeah, something
He
like that.
he plays Bastion, who's her boyfriend in this, and the whole thing is like they're having this worldwide tour, and then they're gonna be ending up getting married on stage, and doing their big song "Marry Me" and everything like that, and but a lot of their relationship is kind of staged because it's so a lot of control by managers and PR people and everything like that. Even this song, the whole "Marry Me" song and everything like that. It's kind of somewhat of a stage, but she's really into him. But the minute before she goes on stage, before they do the whole big number, and then before he proposes to her and she says yes. There's this a news alert that comes on from like a TMZ website that pops up on people's phones, and then she finds out that he was cheating on her. And oh, hey, thank you for the lurk, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, Morgan, for the lurk. And then she finds out he was cheating on her. So she goes up there absolutely devastated, absolutely crushed, doesn't know what to do. Finding this information that her boyfriend, husband to be, was cheating on her. So just randomly, just looking out in the audience, giving this emotional speech, she just picks Owen Wilson's goofy looking ass, holding up a sign that says "Marry Me." She's like, white guy with windbreaker. I'll pick you. You know what I mean, to marry you, and let's do it. And they just, some complete stranger she doesn't even know ends up marrying him. And you think she was just like, okay, after that, just to do it to save herself the embarrassment. But by the way, even though like it's two strangers, I mean, if you're a guy and Jennifer Lopez proposes to you, you don't even know. Fuck it, I'm saying yes. Fuck that, I'm saying yes.
Yeah. So the thing that works about this movie, and I'll be real, I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. But the thing that works about this movie is that it pretty much acknowledges that, look, this is an insane concept. Like, we acknowledge this is insane, and we're just gonna kind of move past it, because there is this point where she looks out, to your point, to Owen Wilson's goofy looking ass, and she gives a speech about love and being in love with the concept of love, which is a very real thing that a lot of people don't talk about. And the movie actually has some of those moments where it kind of breaks that rom-com formula and kind of hits the audience with that. You kind of go, oh, okay, you're actually taking this more seriously than I thought you would. And this is so J-Lo, she's done a lot of these rom-coms, Made in Manhattan, The Boy Next Door. She's done a lot of, she's done a lot of this shit. And to her credit, there's a scene where she breaks down talking to her manager, Colin, who's played by John Bradley, who you know from Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
and
he's having a terrific year,
down,
isn't he? Like Moonfall and this. Wow, what a great back-to-back year! Like, man.
So it's funny. Like, again, I fully acknowledge I'm way higher on this movie than a lot of people will be, because I went in this just going, "Oh God, this is gonna piss me off," and I really found myself actually enjoying it, shockingly so. Again, it's dumb. I will make no comment about the fact it's fucking dumb. But at the same, so the worst thing about this is that Jimmy Fallon keeps popping up.
Yeah,
and I was just like, please go. I was like, please go away, because you're terrible in this. But the relationship and the chemistry between Owen Wilson, who I don't think gets enough credit for as good of an actor as he actually is. Because Owen Wilson, when he actually gives a shit, which is more often than not, he actually is a great fucking actor. People sleep on stuff like Wonder and No Escape. Like, he's a damn good actor, and he was just in French Dispatch, a couple months ago. Wilson's a hell of an actor,
Mm-hmm.
and he never feels, how do I put this? He always feels like a civilian in the sense that they're like, hey, we're giving you this phone so you can go ahead and, keep track of your schedule. And he's just like, look, I'm a math teacher. I just want to give these kids a good education. And that's really all I want. And so he's never extorting her. He's never being an asshole to her. He's actually being more of a confidant through most of it than you would actually expect, which is a good thing. So there's no bullshit like random fight for them to break up or anything like that for no reason, which is usually a trope in these. Like when they kind of have their tiff, it's completely justified because the cheating asshole's like, well, I want you back, baby, because of course he does, because look at her. And Owen Wilson's just like, look, if you really feel like you're in love with this dude, then you deserve to be together. But he's never an asshole about it, and she's never cruel to him. And it was actually really nice to see one of these where there's not some manufactured bullshit like tiff between the two of them.
Mm.
It actually flows in a rhythm that I'm surprised that there's not a bullshit tiff, because if there was going to be one, it'd probably be in something like this, and it's actually not, and that was a pleasant surprise for me.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna, goof on the movie a little bit, but like you said, I I didn't hate it. I really didn't. I know that's
Okay.
probably dampening with faint praise, but yeah, it's a movie that you look at and you expect it to be really, I think, complete garbage. And like you said,
Oh yeah.
and Jennifer Lopez has been known to do a lot of these, romantic comedies, especially these bad romantic comedies. I don't think this one is.
Yeah.
I don't think this one's great. I don't think it's in my pantheon of really great romantic comedies, like something like that movie with Ryan Reynolds and Abigail Breslin. I love that movie too. Dang, I forget.
Oh, definitely, maybe.
Definitely, maybe. Yeah, I absolutely love that
Oh yeah,
movie.
no, it's not that good. No, 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 no.
Yeah, but I think it's just decent. It's just okay. And I think, like you said, what makes it kind of is that, yeah, when they are together, and she does look at him as a confidant, and then eventually they start to rub off on each other, because Owen Wilson in this movie, he's a single dad, just got a divorce from his wife, and trying to really have a good relationship with his kid. He shares kind of joint custody there. And the kid, by the way, is the kid that I'm seeing popping up in a lot of other stuff too. I saw her in Gunpowder Milkshake.
But she's great, and she was in My Spy, which she's
Yeah,
also great.
yeah, she was.
Yeah.
She's got a nice permanent role right now as the cute kid. Good for her. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Showing up. Nice for her. Getting them good cute kid checks.
Yep. Exactly.
So he pops up with her, and he's like, and then he's having that time with her, being the awkward stage, like he says, with the daughter, where she's kind of distancing himself from him. She's growing and kind of into being a teenager, and like, okay, when you're too cool for your parents, and you want to kind of do your own thing and that stuff. So he's kind of he's patient with her, and everything, trying to be. And he's like a corny math teacher, you know what I mean? He even, very low key, doesn't have social media, doesn't have anything like that. He still has a flip phone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he still has kind of a flip phone. So he's like, I think it kind of tries to make him a little too corny, a little too goofy. I like, the flip phone, and like him doing that. And then I was like, it's a little
Well,
too.
he's on a teacher's salary, man. Like, what do you like? What do you want from him?
I mean, even teachers got, they got iPhones, they got some Androids, they got at least a modern phone. I mean, gee, at least a touchscreen phone. He still got the cricket phone. He's still typing in the buttons. Like, what the hell?
He is a teacher in New York. The only thing that'd be worse if he was a teacher in Philly. Like, I completely understand why he doesn't have enough money. Plus he's probably playing alimony too. Like, and he's a school teacher. Like, he's
Yeah,
probably broke as fuck eating government cheese. So I
yeah,
didn't think it was a stretch at all. But I
yeah.
mean, I don't know. Like there's a couple. So okay. there are scenes in the movie, as I mentioned. So there's a scene where she shows up at the school, like just shows up, and starts teaching the kids like these dance moves, like to one of her songs, whatever. And Owen Wilson is like reading off math questions while she's teaching this choreography and stuff like that. I was like, this is cute. Again, it's dumb. I will not dispute anyone who tells me this movie is dumb. But like you got me. But it is those moments like that that actually feel genuine between the characters. And there is actually, I'll spoil this. People, if you're going to complain about spoiler on Marry Me, just shut up. But they actually have the little girl lose, which I went, oh, okay. Because let's be real, like on these, they would usually go, oh, the little girl, gets over a stage fright and
Right.
figures it out, and America is saved. But they don't do that. She actually loses, and the lesson being like, it's okay to fall short. Like that doesn't make you a piece of shit. And Charlie actually telling her that he's proud of her, even though she came up short. It's like kids kind of need to hear that, especially in the social media age. And so
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised by a lot of the scenes in the movie where it actually goes the other way, where in a lesser rom-com it would be very stereotypical. My biggest gripe with this movie outside Jimmy Fallon, because I'll be real, I fucking hate Jimmy Fallon.
Right.
Just whenever I see him, I just want to hit him with a billy club. I just can't stand the dude. But Sarah Silverman, who she had a couple just jokes that I thought were just turds in a punch bowl, where I just went, girl, you are kind of stalling this film's momentum whenever you're on screen, and it's kind of pissing me off. So that's probably my biggest gripe outside of Fallon. But I mean, there's a scene where Kat plays one of her songs at like the school dance, with the principal, who's a huge fan. Like, you wouldn't see Kanye doing that shit. Like there are just those sort of moments that the film takes a half step back and you go, okay, you're actually trying more than most, and that caught me off guard in a pleasant way. I mean, I watched this at home, which, let me be clear, is the best place to watch this. You do not need to go to theater to see this shit.
Yeah, it's on. It's on. You can watch it on Peacock. You can watch it for free. Do you need a subscription with Peacock, or?
I don't think you do, actually.
No, I don't
think you
think
can
you do.
just. Yeah, I think they have trials too. So if you're that desperate to watch Marry Me, you can probably do a 7-day trial, or a 30-day trial, whatever. But yeah, I mean, this was something I went, I mean, I can never say I'll watch this again. Like, actually, now I'm thinking about it. But there is just a sweetness and an actual like art to this, more than I thought there would be, especially when one of the writers wrote Catwoman, which, you're terrible for that. But I thought this was aight.
Yeah, I see your point. I see what you're saying. With the ending, and like I think if you had better writing in this, like it could have really been this good commentary, like what we know from Jennifer Lopez's life, because this is essentially like kind of like her life almost, and if you did have that of really talking about, her relationships and, her kind of failures in those things and the way she looks at, marriage and, and things like that, because she talks about, being a hopeless romantic, and it's like, well, I'm not going to give up. You know what I mean? I'm going to, because I mean, I know Jennifer Lopez in real life, she's looking like Thanos, she's got all the, she's got all the rings and shit. I mean,
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, she's successful. She's gorgeous. She's in a relationship right now. She's just doing her thing. And yeah, she's kind of in a situation like that. So, I think that would have been, if you just had kind of smarter writing in that would have been really great to see. But I think what it kind of annoyed me about the movie, like I said, Sarah Silverman, I don't think she made me laugh once throughout the whole movie.
That's fair.
She's a friend of Owen Wilson. She's another fellow teacher at the school and everything. Also, I think the music in the movie is not good. I don't even think it's good, even generic pop music. I don't think it's even good on that level.
Interesting. Okay.
I didn't like that. I think that also what else here? I think the ex boyfriend character, the Bastion character. Okay, yeah, he's typical kind of douchebag kind of typical kind of character there.
Yeah.
It's not even a situation where you can kind of see where that's kind of going there. I think that relationship ended very typically. The chemistry between Owen Wilson and Jennifer Lopez, I thought it was fine. It didn't leap off the screen to me. I didn't think it was like fire, you know what I mean, or anything like that. Of just amazing chemistry between the two. I just think it was okay. I mean, what did you think about the chemistry between Owen Wilson and Jennifer Lopez?
So that was the thing for me that I actually thought was the strongest component was their chemistry because and I'm blinking on the line. I'm paraphrasing a bit, but there's this point where she's going to go to Puerto Rico on her plane and spend the weekend with Bastion, and he goes, "Look, I'm telling you this not as your spouse, not as your friend, because I'm neither. But if there's any part of you that has any hesitation about being with him, then come to the school dance with me." Like he's not saying come to my house and let's bone or anything like that. Like he's actually looking out for her in a way that she really needed in that time. And that was something that I was actually really appreciative of. And he challenges her to not, have everyone waiting on her hand on foot. Like she actually needs to go ahead and, do some shit for herself. And so there are just these wrinkles in the movie that I was pleasantly surprised by. I like the music in the movie, but I will be the first to admit that "Marry Me" song, that was like the first time I heard Chris Brown's "Forever," where I just went, I don't like this song, and I know I'm gonna hear it like 30 times, and just I could not escape that fucking song when it came out, and I was like, oh, make this stop. So by like the fifth or sixth time you hear "Marry Me," it's like, oh, please stop this right now, move on to something else. But
Yeah.
he does, but a lot of the music that she actually does, I actually thought that song, what is it? I think "On My Way." I really liked that song. I was actually like, oh,
Mm.
okay. And that song "Church," I mean, independent of her outfit, which is Lord have mercy, but even that song, I went, okay, this is kind of a bop. Like the music worked for me more than it didn't, but again, I cannot defend "Marry Me" because even when they do the ballad version of it, and he's about to do that Chris Brown shit and like cry and be like, "I miss you," like that shit, I was like, oh, fuck off. Like you were fucking her assistant. Like you don't get the you don't get the crocodile tears and get me feel sympathy for you. So yeah, the music doesn't always work, but for the most part, it definitely did for me. And it's under 2 hours, which thank God, because this shit could have been. There's a script out there where this is 2 hours and 20 minutes,
Ooh,
and someone thought better of it.
yeah.
So thankfully, this is under 2 hours. Like someone knew better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this movie works more than it doesn't. And again, you're getting a chance to see it at home, which is kind of the place you should be watching it.
Yeah, it's on Peacock. Watch it at home. I don't recommend going to theater to go see it if you want to, but I don't know. I think
Eh,
you
you
can
don't
just
need to.
chill at home and watch it. Like I say, I think Peacock is free. You can just sign up for it and then watch it. And yeah, I mean, rating wise, I'd give it a low stream it for me. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I'd be for this movie. Like I said, I mean, like you brought up some good points about the ending, how it kind of went kind of a different way there, and kind of had a good lesson there, and then just some discussions about love and about relationships. I thought was kind of decent in a way. But I think, like I said, and then Owen Wilson, he's got some moments where you see why Owen Wilson is Owen Wilson. He is a movie star. He wore. He's got a
Yeah.
good charming quality to him and likability quality to him. Yeah, and Jennifer Lopez in this movie, I think over time, she's become a better actress.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think she still has never been as good as she was in Out of Sight, but which Steven Soderbergh.
Hustlers?
Oh yeah, Hustlers was
Really?
really good.
Not
Oh yeah,
Hustlers?
yeah, Hustlers is really good. I did like the
Okay.
Hustlers. I thought she should have been nominated for Hustlers actually.
I
But
agree 1,000% on that.
yeah, yeah, I think she's good in it. I think that his daughter. I mean, she doesn't have really anything else to do. But I'm the cute kid who's kind of bratty sometimes. That's kind of what she kind of is there. But she's fine at that. I think she's kind of cool with that, and I think that's all right. But yeah, for me, I'd give it an A just to low stream it. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I give a solid stream it. So like, I would kind of equate this to seeing this like at a like a C plus, even B minus, because like, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. So I mean, if you wanted to go see this like at an early matinee, like pay $7, like if you have to go out, sure, I guess. I mean, I'd probably order in and watch it at home, but I'd give this a solid stream it because yeah, it's something that had more layers than I thought it would. But again, I can never like it's not definitely maybe. It's not, When Harry Met Sally. It's not
Right.
that upper tier of rom coms. But
Right.
this is a higher tier than a lot of time than, J Lo hits. Like, this isn't, like when you're expecting, or like the wedding plan. Like, it's
Yeah.
not that shit. Like,
Right.
it's a step up minimum from that, but it's not that upper tier. So, but I would still tell people to actually watch this. I think you'll have fun with it. Just don't go to a theater. You
Yeah.
don't need to.
Yeah. All right. So moved on from discussing Marry Me. We got Kimi. Kimi is a movie directed by Steven Soderbergh, starring Zoe Kravitz. It was on my list of most anticipated movies of 2022. So in this film, you have Zoe
Nice.
Kravitz, who's playing blue-haired and pronouns in bio. You kind of have that kind of going on there. But her name in the movie is Angela Childs. She's a kind of a she works for a company that makes these devices, Kimi, which is basically your Alexa, your Siri,
Yeah.
your what was the other one?
Cortella or whatever.
Yeah, like because there's like Alexa, there's
Oh,
Siri,
Siri.
Siri, and then I think there was what's another one? The Google one. Does that have?
Oh, Google Assistant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
So
just Google
it's
Assistant.
it's kind
Yeah.
of one of those things that you talk into and says, "Hey, order me 10 bananas. Hey, play Fuck the Police by NWA." It's kind of one thing kind
Yeah.
of speaking to that. And she's she works where she listens to all the different kind of streams going on when people talking to the machine and programs and kind of listens to all these different streams and kind of writes resolutions to them. So if like somebody comes up with something that the device doesn't know, then she'll kind of fix the issue. And also, while she's kind of doing that, while she's listening to these different streams, she overhears the evidence of a crime. And it kind of leads her on this investigation to kind of figure out, what happened and to uncover this crime. And she's met with a lot of resistance in doing so. And to accompany that situation, what's making it so difficult for her to kind of do this is she's agoraphobic, which means she can't go outside. She has a rational fear of going outside. And this also movie is also set in the pandemic. So you'll see her, masked up when she goes outside, and very, very kind of fearful of going outside. I don't know if it was saying that it started while she was in COVID, or if she's always been agoraphobic.
Yeah. They don't really clear that up, and that's one of my few complaints. I wish they would have kind of established that aspect of her character as far as the timeline, but
Yeah. So yeah, but so she's trying to do her best. It's funny kind of watching this movie because this is kind of like very much like a similar movie like Rear Window or something like that. You'll kind of see like a normal person kind of gets involved in crime and tries to uncover themselves. And it's funny having seen that movie with Kristen Bell, that just not a movie but a show called The Woman Across the Street from the Girl in the Window over the moon and
yeah.
over the hill. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the cow jumped. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That movie had that
because
show.
that show was a parody of these type of things. It was parodying, like the Amy Adams movie, The Woman in the Window, which came on Netflix, about the whole thing of the kind of this suburban thriller type situations where this regular woman uncovers this crime, and she's trying to figure it out and everything like that, and nobody believes her, and people think she's crazy and got all these mental issues. And it's funny, like watching that show coming into this, because it's like when you watch Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, and it's like, wow, oh yeah, they do a lot of this in these movies. It's like, oh yeah, like this is kind of like, oh wow, now you can't really watch any biopic the same way ever again, because it's like, oh, they really broke this down pretty well. Now I think this is a movie that's step above, something like the Amy Adams movie, The Woman in the Window. I think the direction of it is far superior.
Yeah.
Like I said, Steven Soderbergh, I love his work. Really, a big fan of it. Like we said, he just does a lot of different things, dabbles in different genres. All of a sudden he just goes like, yeah, he went like, you know what? I want to make a movie on the iPhone 7. Why not? You know what I mean? Fuck it. Sure, why not? And Unsane, that movie was Unsane. And it was one of my favorite movies of the year it came out.
I dug that movie a lot.
Yeah, I absolutely love that movie. He was like, hey, why not do a movie about male strippers? Magic Mike. Sure, why not? Let me do that. Yeah. So I think he does a lot of different things. I really appreciate with his work. Him doing a kind of this thriller. It does kind of have those, very much those elements that you saw, what I mean, in these kind of typical thrillers here of someone who's trying to uncover this crime and trying to figure it out. And, it's done in a more modern day way, because it's done where, it's like these home systems that everybody uses. And we all know that a lot of these home systems have gotten accusations that they listen to what you say. People even say that with the phones.
Sorry, accusations, really?
Well, I'm trying to cover myself. I don't want, what I mean?
Okay.
I'm trying to
fair enough. Sorry, you're right. Accusations of listening. Yes, correct.
You know what I mean? Hey, I ain't got a good legal team, man. I ain't got, what I mean? I ain't got a good legal team.
That's fair. Fair.
So, these things, listening to what you say, and that they listen to it all the time, and, collecting kind of all this information about you so they can sell you more products, what I mean, on your phone, and, when you're scrolling through Facebook and other social media and all this other stuff like that. So, obviously when she uncovers this crime and wants to report it to higher ups, obviously she's met with a lot of resistance, because they were like, well, we don't want people to know that we're listening to them 24/7 and everything they do when the thing's not on. So, she's met with a kind of a lot of trouble there. I like Zoe Kravitz in the role quite a bit. I like the kind of direction of the movie, what it was doing. I think that, like I said, now having seen that show with Kristen Bell, it just kind of just opened my eyes. Like, oh man, it's just like this was kind of a bad time to release this so close to this. Haven't seen that. What were kind of your thoughts on the movie yourself?
So I dug the hell out of this. I thought this was a ton of fun. The writer David Koepp has a fascinating career, because he's done a lot of stuff that I really dig, like War of the Worlds, Spider-Man, Panic Room, Stir of Echoes, Carlito's Way, fucking Jurassic Park. Like, pretty great resume. But then you get into shit like The Mummy with Tom Cruise, Mordecai with Johnny Depp, which is one of my least favorite films I've seen in the last decade. That movie's fucking horrible. Jack Ryan's Shadow Recruit. That's also a terrible movie. You should have left isn't bad, actually. But he also wrote The Lost World Jurassic Park, the one with the black girl doing gymnastics to beat a velociraptor. Like so it's a fascinating career that he's had. And did Carlito's Way, which, what the fuck, really? But he wrote this, and the thing that I really appreciate about this movie is that, myself, I'll be the first to admit, I'm double masking wherever I go. I'm going out into public very rarely, because I'm trying to avoid COVID still. And so when she's going outside or trying to go outside, and she's having these panic attacks, which the film illustrates beautifully, like, you feel like you're having a panic attack with her, and it's almost I was getting Mirror's Edge vibes from this, just in the way that it's filmed and kind of how you feel like you're seeing it through her eyes. Like, the film does a very good job of that. There's this scene where she's thrown into this black van and she's trying to escape. And that shit is fucking horrifying. Like I was like, oh my god, okay. And
Mm.
the film really just ramps up its tension the more the film goes on. Because to your point, she brings up this whole concept that she heard a murder, and even the women she's talking to are like, "Oh man, we take this totally seriously.
Mm.
You should come to the office and talk to us. I don't want to leave my house. We kind of prefer if you come talk to us in person." And you're kind of like, "That's weird." Okay. And Rita Wilson only is in this movie for a scene,
Mm.
but that scene is heartbreaking though because she's just trying. Like they bring up the fact she's had that Angela had a mental breakdown at a
Mm.
point or was going to counseling, and it's done in such a way that companies do that shit where you go, oh well, you had a mental break or you wanted to take care of your mental health, like how can we trust you, which is so fucked up when
Right.
it's thrown at her in that way. But then her paranoia is totally justified without getting too much from the spoilers, and the film just ramps up. In the last 20 minutes especially, I just went, oh, this is fucking awesome. And the thing is, the movie does not overstay its welcome. It's just under 90 minutes, so it's
Yeah.
a quick watch. um, but the action is handled really well. You get that state of panic that you're supposed to feel while watching her character. um, there's not a lot of actors really in this. It's really Zoe Kravitz and really just her for like 70% of the movie.
Yeah.
And that works because she's a hell of an actress. So not everyone can carry a film like this. So I give her a ton of credit. But
Yeah.
I thought Soderbergh did a great job directing it. The action is handled really well when it presents itself. But yeah, this was something that from the score to the direction that I just really enjoyed, and it leaves in a spot that I went, yeah, I'm really happy before you ended this. So
Mm. Yeah. It you mentioned Zoe Kravitz's performance. Seeing the little ticks that she does, like when she does a little hand thing, like where she kind of almost touches her hands together but doesn't. Like she has these little ticks and everything like that, in her performance. And seeing kind of the anxiety that she has when she puts the key in the door and is about to turn it, and then kind of just falls to the ground. She just can't do it. And you see how she lives her life through all these different screens, like and when she puts on like
yeah,
her headphones to do the data stream so she can do her job, and she puts on these sound muffling headphones, and how she kind of lives her life, through these different screens, a laptop and then big monitor here, and then going, doing these different video calls, and I mean, doing something like that, you think it would be somewhat maybe a little boring, but I think he finds a way to make it interesting, much like when you see something like when you watch Searching with John Cho. Uh,
yes, great comparison.
when you watch that, where that was all about a guy trying to find his daughter, and it was him doing all this different research on the computer and looking through social media, and you think like, oh, that's going to be boring, but the way it's shot, it's so intense of him trying to do this discovery himself and this investigation, and how much people live their life online. But here, in this story, when she kind of uncovers this information, trying to find it out, trying to do the investigation, trying to do the work, and who she could trust, and trying to overcome her fear of this agoraphobia. I thought that was kind of interesting and done in a much better way than I think it's something like The Woman in the Window. And I think something like that is trying to be like a mystery. You know what I mean? You're trying to guess who the killer is.
Yeah.
And things like that. And this one, you see her kind of going through this investigation, and really trying to just uncover all this information, and where this kind of going to lead. Even though you kind of have a good idea of where it's going to go, where it's going to lead to. And like you said, the scene with Rita Wilson, that's a great scene. Really great scene with her. Even
Yeah.
when she's in the short bit with there. I didn't really like too much the henchmen. I thought they were very incompetent henchmen. I'm like,
Okay.
the fact that they got beat, pretty much, or the way they kind of got dealt with, I just thought was not. I was just like, you just, it just didn't seem all that good to me. They seemed very incompetent and not very efficient. Yeah. I mean, what'd you think about
So
the?
for me, Yeah, so for me on that, I really just kind of think of that in the way a lot of action films kind of treat henchmen like that. That, oh, we're trying to get, one 110 pound ish, woman. Like we're two of us or three of us. Like we're gonna completely underestimate her. So that wasn't that because that's kind of what everyone is doing in the film. Like, yeah, we talk about the roadblocks and everything, and the resistance she's met with, but everyone is really underestimating her and really undercutting her in the sense of going like, oh, she'll drop this if we put this roadblock up. And that's kind of the message in the film itself is that people are really undercutting her determination. I mean, fuck, her own mother does that shit. So when the henchmen show up and they're very like, oh, we've got this is a fucking layup. That didn't surprise me at all, and it actually was like it actually fed into the film for me personally.
Mm.
Um, I never felt like they were incompetent. I just thought they were incredibly cocky because there's two or three of them. It's like it's one girl. How much trouble could she be? So
Yeah.
yeah, I actually bought it from that perspective.
Mm. Yeah. I can see that. I can see that. I was also happy the guy from the dad from Jane the Virgin. He was getting some work. I was like, oh, hey, the guy from Jane.
Right?
I
Yeah.
was like, hey, look at him. Hey, man, good to see you again. I was happy to see him. Yeah, he still looks good too. Still a good looking guy too. I'm like, oh man.
He
I,
does.
yeah, I was like, oh shit, I haven't seen you in since that show went off the air. I was like, oh hey man, good get some work. Uh,
Which, by the way, y'all, if you have not watched Jane the Virgin, put that on your list. That's a great fucking show.
yeah, really love this show, really great. But yeah, I was happy to
Same.
see him. And the kind of the villain of it, I mean, you don't really spend all that much time with them. The quote unquote villain of the
Uh,
movie. Yeah, I mean, you barely spend any time with them. I mean, they're kind of irrelevant. It's just about really Zoe Kravitz, like you said, and I think she carries the movie a decent amount. I mean, I see Zoe Kravitz doing a lot of supporting stuff, like when she was in Dope, or when she was
she's great in that.
yeah, she's kind of great in that. Kind of doing all the kind of different stuff. But yeah, I would love to see Zoe Kravitz in more leading roles. To see her really expand her range and things like that of stuff she's in. And this is I was looking at it. This is the third movie Steven Soderbergh has done for HBO Max because he had Sudden Move, No Sudden Move, which came
Yes.
out as well. He
Which
has
was excellent. No Son of Moves is badass.
okay. I have to check that out. I didn't see that one.
You should.
And then Let Them All Talk, which was a movie with Meryl Streep. So I have to check
I
those.
have not seen that one.
I have to check those two movies out on HBO Max. But yeah, with Kimmy, I give it. I think this is good where it is. On HBO Max on streaming. I think like I said, barely kind of like it's an hour and 30 minutes. So it's a good amount of runtime. The conclusion I think felt a little half baked to me. Like okay, well everything got solved and they there, but felt a little kind of half baked, a little underwritten. But I still think it was a decent movie. I give it a strong stream. It. How about you?
I would definitely say I would give this a very strong stream. This I don't want to get too much in spoilers, but there is a couple of there's something involving a weapon in the last 20 minutes that I just went goddamn. Like there's one kill in particular. I was like, holy shit, okay, and you don't get a ton of action in this
Mm-hmm.
because it is more of a to your point, it's more of a rear window type film. But when as we get to the conclusion, we you do get to see how her even keeping track of her neighbors comes into play, and how the internet itself kind of comes into play, and it's a very subtle thing, but I love how whenever she put her headphones on, you felt the sound go away. Like it's like I'm a sucker for that trick. I love when directors actually decide to it's a subtle thing, but go ahead and incorporate that. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I don't think this will be like my best of this year or anything like that, but this will be something I revisit again. Like I really enjoyed this, and yeah, Soderbergh, keep doing weird shit, man. I love you for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. He had like a movie come out each of the last 3 years, because this year, then last year, then 2020. So yeah, he works consistently. Putting out those movies, putting out that kind of stuff. So I like that. Consistently working, consistently putting out good stuff. Yeah. Um, yeah, I did enjoy it. Um, yeah, I give it a strong streaming for me.
Nice.
All right, so moving on from discussing Kimmy, I'm gonna be getting into Reacher. So Reacher is a show that is on Amazon Prime. It is about the Jack Reacher character, which is a literary character which was written by Lee Childs. And in this series, I mean, there were also two movies based on the character. Those two movies, I saw the first one, which was called Jack Reacher, which was Tom Cruise starring in it. I never saw the sequel. I did like the movie. I thought the movie was pretty good. But in this show, you do have an actor in Alan Hutchinson who more physically matches the role of Jack Reacher.
Yes.
Because and people know Alan Hutchinson. He plays in Titans. He plays Hawk. If I'm Hawk.
Yes.
In that show, the Hawk and Dove team, not Hawk like Hawkman. He plays Hawk, but he's in that. So in the book, Jack Reacher is described as a massive human being. I mean, he's like seven, or close to being 7 foot tall. He can barely fit through doorways. I mean, that's just how big of a guy he is. So Alan Hutchinson, I'm sorry, I said Hutchinson. Richardson is his name.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Richardson. He more physically kind of matches the role, and he put on even more muscle to play this part. And yeah, I mean, he does more physically match of what you expect Jack Reacher to look like. And when he like stands up and when he looks at somebody, I mean, all he has to do is sometimes is just look at somebody, and they already know, like, okay, man, I'm
Yep.
sorry. Like even the opening, like kind of the first episode and kind of the opening of the scene, you see like a guy kind of bullying his wife, intimidating his wife. And then all he's doing is he just stares at him. He doesn't even say a word, just stares at the dude. And he just goes, dude's like, "What, you got a problem?" And he just keeps staring at him. He's like, "Okay, man, I'm sorry, man. I'm just having a bad day, man. Come on, man. I'm sorry. I'll never do it again." Like, just that's all he does. And
Right.
just like that, you know what I mean? Just with that quick look. And so that is kind of you do get that sense of the character, like he just takes up space on the screen. So it does more. If you read the book, it does like more describe to what Lee Childs is talking about in the book. Even though I like Tom Cruise, hey, Short King, you know what I mean, Short King. So I appreciate that representation. But in this, you do see that, and Alan Richardson does a good job in the role. I think so far what I've seen is him as a Reacher character, the way he's able to kind of break things down, and kind of solve these cases, because he comes into this town in Georgia, this little small kind of hick town, and these murders start popping up, and he has this whole long military resume of being just Silver Star, Purple Star, #1 graduate at West Point. You know what I mean? He retired at Major, and he just kind of lives his life. And he says, I'm not a vagrant. I'm a hobo. Like I just travel from place to place, and and I just kind of go around the world at my own leisure. And they say, what about money? He's like, well, I got an account, a pension that gets wired to my account at like a Western Union or something, and then I just pick up money there, and I just go about my day. And then when they do research about him, they're like, yeah, he's got no social media, he's got no insurance, he's got no mortgage, he's got nothing. He's just completely just this ghost almost of a person. And yeah, you see, and to see the way he breaks down cases and people is very fascinating to watch. I mean, sometimes it can get a little, with these type of things when they make people, it's like Sherlock Holmes or Hercule Poirot. It's like they'll make these people to the point of where they're so good at investigating that they're practically clairvoyant to a degree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they almost like they have like superpowers. You know what I mean? But I think it's realistic enough. It's fine, I guess, with one of these type of shows. Like it's like one of these kind of shows that you would watch, like kind of like the Rockford Files or something like that, or Columbo.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Kind of one of those old kind of shows like that. About this mysterious guy that comes into the town that is a complete badass that just knows all these different skills and everything like that. And I kind of do appreciate that in the show, kind of like that. And it's 8 episodes. I finished the first two. I'm gonna be doing another. I'm gonna be talking about it more in depth Saturday. So we're gonna be doing that. But so far, I am liking it. I'm like Alan Richardson. I'm liking the cast. You have the one actor I've seen before who plays the police chief. I saw him in iZombie, and he's basically playing his same character from iZombie. Kind of the no nonsense, cop there. Malcolm Goodwin. He's kind of playing this
Oscar, right?
Yeah. You also have Willa Fitzgerald here, who I remember from seeing. She was in the Scream TV show. I was like, I know I've seen this woman from something. She was in the Scream TV show. Also she kind of looks like Britt Robertson a little bit. I don't know if you see that. She kind of looks like Britt Robertson a little bit.
Yeah, actually, I can't see that. Yeah.
Also, it was cool seeing Kristen Kurek in this. I was like, oh shit, it's Lana. Holy shit, Lana Lang. Holy shit. From Smallville. I was like, she's in this. And she still looks the same. I'm like, oh wow, I haven't seen you in.
Oh, I think you mean Chung Li. I think that's what you meant to say.
Yeah, Chung Li, legendary. Yeah, Chung Li. I'd be interested to see to interview her, because I know Michael Rosenbaum. He has a podcast, and I've seen clips of the podcast. Yeah. It's a good podcast. I've listened to kind of episodes of it, and he had Jason Eccles on there. He does kind of good interviews on there, yeah, I'd be interested to see him get her on the show and just talk about so that movie completely ruined your career or what? Because Chung Li was just fucking garbage.
That was a bad movie.
She was also in Beauty and the Beast, the TV show too. That was also pretty fucking terrible.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that was a thing. Yeah, that's right.
But I was like, oh yeah, it's good to see her and stuff. She still looks the same as she did back when she was pretty much as back when she was on Smallville. I was like, oh damn. But yeah, she's here. I guess I was just thinking in my head, I guess she's one of the few normal people in that show left. Because, the one girl's got a cult. Yeah. And, the other dude, didn't he, smuggle drugs? The black guy?
I think so. Yeah. which come on, brother. Why are you trying to make it harder on us? Don't do that shit.
But Tom Welling, Kristen Kurek, and who else was on there? Michael Rosenbaum. They all seem pretty good. They all seem pretty cool. You know what I mean? So, but yeah,
they're doing fine. They're doing super.
Yeah, doing super. But yeah, I'm liking the show so far. I think it's like I said, Amazon Prime is coming up on the original content, on original TV. These are the streaming races, so you got to have something that people are talking about there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm going to be giving more of an in-depth review, just to give my initial impressions of the show. He beats the hell out of a lot of people. The violence is pretty gruesome in this. For sure, a lot of broken bones, a lot of smashed faces, and everything like that. And, he's taking on those dudes. It's like, damn, this is a big, massive guy. So yeah, it's impressive to see. All right.
It got renewed for season 2 already too, so even more reason to watch it.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna be getting out of here. Thank you, man. Thank you for joining me, man.
Dude, no problem, man. Always available.
Thank you, Morgan, for coming by there, man. Much appreciated. Much appreciated, Nick. Much appreciated, Dante. Thank you for coming by, Cal. Hey, thank you for coming by. I wanted to bet Cal on the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? But he wouldn't bet me on there. I think he was he going for the Bengals? I think he was going for the Bengals. But Cal's a big time bettor. He bets all the time. Yeah, he wins good money.
Okay.
I don't know how much he betted on this Super Bowl though. Maybe with points and the spread and everything like that. I don't know, but yeah. But I did win some money. I bet my boss, that the Rams would win. So I won $25. So that was pretty cool.
Boom! There you go. Hey, that's a 6-pack and some sushi. There you go.
Yeah, so that was pretty good. So I like that. But yeah, the game. It was like I liked how they let them play, but then when it came to the end, it was like flag. They was throwing them flags, boy. I was good for me though. I was rooting for the Rams, so good for me. That was kind of, but I mean that was a hold. I mean, like they were,
Oh yeah,
that was a
like
hold, and yeah, helmet to helmet contact.
yeah.
So you got to call that, and but for the most part, they were really letting the dudes play. You know what I mean? But the one that was kind of controversial was the one that was before those two one. That was the one where Cooper Cup. They would say it was holding or pass interference, but they were like, I don't know, kind of.
Interference. Yeah.
It was kind of shaky, but I thought he kind of held him there. What did you think?
He did, and everyone, the Bengals coach, Zach Taylor, he even came out and said that the refs did a great job officiating. So all you Bengals fans and all you pundits who will go ahead and try to give them that as an out, Skip Bayless, shut up. Okay, the coach of the losing team came out and said the refs did a good job. So chill, okay?
Yeah,
Bengals had their opportunities, they couldn't get it done.
yeah. But I mean, Bengals. I mean, you got a great franchise QB in Joe Burrow. You just
Yep.
need to protect him. You just need to
Yes, protect him,
you need to
please.
get a great offensive line because the dude's a warrior. I mean, he's a warrior. He's taking those hits, coming back. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, so yeah, you got a great franchise QB, and that's hard to find. That's hard to
Yeah.
find. I mean, that's really difficult. I mean, Denver is still looking for this. Plenty of teams still looking for a quarterback to carry their franchise.
Yeah, my
It's
Panthers are
yeah,
looking for a quarterback.
yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Look how long it'll take you before you find a franchise guy that can help get it back to the
yeah.
promised land. But yeah, I mean, so that yeah. But that was a nice Cinderella story though with the Bengals and everything and Burrow and everything like that. Um, yeah, so we're gonna be getting out of here today. Thank you again. All right, so next this upcoming week, this Friday, we're gonna be doing. Me and Nick are gonna be doing Uncharted. Me, Nick, and Hunter. If you are you gonna see Uncharted?
I'm gonna need to check cases in my area because we were kind of so
Okay.
I might sit Uncharted out, but I will be watching Peacemaker for sure. I will be caught up on that.
Okay, we're gonna be doing that, and we're gonna be doing the Peacemaker finale. We talked about the penultimate episode this past Friday, me and Dusk. So we're gonna be doing that this Friday. Saturday, I don't really have a concrete plan yet, but I know we're gonna be doing Reacher. Don't know if we're also possibly gonna do a Batman review because Batman's gonna be coming up. The Batman March 4th, so we're gonna
Nice.
be doing a Batman a retro review of an older Batman movie, maybe Tim Burton Batman movie. Also to be discussing our top five Batman movies that this upcoming Saturday or next Saturday. So we're gonna be doing that. So we got some stuff planned. All right, we're gonna be heading out here. Let me find a person to raid real quick and let me do the outro. Who'd be a good person to raid? I'll do. Is there any point? I'll do him. He's playing Apex right now, so I'm gonna be raiding him. All right, people. Thank you, Hunter. Where can people find you, man?
But yeah, so people can find me on the Twitter at jhunter real pineapple. That's REEL pineapple. You can check out the Real Pineapple wherever you listen to podcasts. For the most part, SoundCloud, Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. I will have reviews up tomorrow for Bel Air and the first three episodes of Bel Air, which I have thoughts about, as well as a review, a full in-depth review for "Marry Me," and for Black History Month. In the next couple weeks, we'll have reviews up for Last Black Man, San Francisco, Waves, Atlanta season 1 and 2, Undercover Brother, and Watchmen, the HBO series, to name a few reviews coming up.
Yeah. I asked Nick about doing the Bel Air series. He hasn't gotten back to me yet, but I mean, I want to check it out. I'm hearing some kind of good things about it, the Bel Air series. So, did all the episodes drop, or they did like release some at a time, and the rest are gonna drop later, or
Yeah, so they released the first three, and then it's weekly every Thursday leading up to March 31st. It's a 10 episode season.
okay, all right, okay. So I'll check it out. Maybe check it out, see how it is. Possibly review it on the show. So with the afternoon tune. We are everywhere on social medias: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. All the Afternoon Tune. You can email us at theafternoon@gmail.com. You can also check us out on YouTube. Just type in The Afternoon Tune. Like, subscribe, comment, do all that good stuff. We are wherever you listen to podcasts, with Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor. With Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave a 5-star review. That helps boost us up. Write a good detailed review. That really helps us out a lot. Also, if you want to check us out, we're also on Twitch, streaming every Friday, Saturday. This time we're streaming on a Sunday. But hey, we try to stream as much as we can. But typically we stream every Friday, Saturday at 9:30 p.m. or 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, I'm going to be running a streaming called Is There Any Point? He's playing Apex Legend right now. Thank you so much, Hunter, for joining me.
Anytime, my friend. Thanks for having me on.
And to all you awesome people out there, don't forget to always stay tuned. Oh.